Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 29 of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. I am Greg from the Wiggles. Excuse me, Joseph, in a yellow shirt this evening. Blake and Justin are my colleagues for tonight, and we'll be talking about a lot of things that happened in the world of racing this weekend. Not too much as we did last week with the Bathurst 1000, but the storylines don't stop from there. We'll talk about the penalties listed out in the controversial finish that took place at Mount Panorama from last week and the penalties that followed this week. But for now, let's get into the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series from Kansas Speedway for the Kansas 400 that took place yesterday afternoon.
Yep.
Denny Hamlin scored his fifth win of 2019 and 36th career total victory after leading 153 laps this past Sunday, and he started 23rd.
Yep, he did.
To see a car dominate the way Denny Hamlin did, especially after starting 23rd from the grid, that shows grit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
It was a really good drive for Denny Hamlin. Really good for that team.
Very. Let's get into the further results here. Chase Elliott, the runner-up, finished second, only led 4 laps, and started 14th. He makes it to the next round. We'll talk about standings pretty soon.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Kyle Busch started 18th, had a very mediocre car and mediocre race, but finished 3rd in his Halloween livery with M&M's this time in the Toyota number 18. Kurt Busch, 4th place finish. William Byron came home 5th, but not enough to advance in the round of 8.
He
started 25th. Yep, Truex got 6th. Eric Jones, Clint Bowyer, Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson. And here are the rest of the playoff notables, as I have listed. Alex Bowman.
Yeah.
I already mentioned William Byron. Alex Bowman finished 11th, led 7 laps, but started 16th. Failed to make through the round of 12. Kyle Larson, who locked his spot in through winning at Dover.
He moves on to the next round. He finished 14th after leading laps until he had an incident with Joey Gase, which he spun Gase out. Joey Logano 17th after we had Daniel Suarez's crash on the front straightaway. Logano got door slammed into the grass by Austin Dillon and still managed to make it to the next round. Finishing 7th, started 29, finished 17. Made it. He still made it by a couple points. Then we got Brad Keselowski. Started 4th, finished 19th. He was running up there. He was close to make it, but until he and Paul Menard made contact and he got into the wall a couple times, which that was not good for him. He did not make it. And Ryan Blaney, the lowest playoff driver, 21st, but he won at Talladega, so he made it into the next round.
Right, and let's get into the championship standings. So the round of 8 kicks off this weekend at the Martinsville Speedway. And this is the round that determines the championship for drivers for the race at Homestead. And the final 8, Kyle Busch is the points leader with 46 bonus points claimed. So remember, everybody has 4,000 points. I want to make that clear. 40,000 points. And then plus number of bonus points claimed.
Yep. And
so for Kyle Busch, he has 46 bonus points. So 4,000 plus 46, you get 4,046. And then Martin Truex Jr. second, 4,042.
So
Points.
4 points. That's close. Martinsville, it's going to be competitive. So then you have him.
Third place, Denny Hamlin made it through. He's 37 bonus points. And then Joey Logano has 30 bonus points in fourth.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick, fifth with a bonus point number of 28. Chase Elliott, sixth with 24 bonus points. Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney in 11 bonus points for Larson, 9 for Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
You could tell winning claimed their spots into the rounds because they didn't really have the consistency compared to the other drivers ahead of
one thing,
championship standings.
I hope Kyle Larson's okay for racing because, he injured his ribs, Talladega, but instead of taking the week off like at Kansas, no, he decided to race it. But Martinsville's a tougher track. So he has to make sure he's okay. Because, Martinsville, you're going to get moved up out the way. You could hit the wall.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into the Martinsville pretty soon.
So that's going to... So
we'll talk about Martinsville pretty soon. We have an Xfinity race to discuss.
Oh, that race.
For the Kansas Lottery 300, began the round of 8 and the 30th race of the season.
Yep.
Brandon Jones prevailed in his 134th start.
Yep.
To capture a first career win. Driving the number 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, you'll see Brandon Jones race next year for the full-time 2020 season, along with new teammate Harrison Burton. We'll talk about Burton in a moment, but here's the results. So Brandon Jones only led 10 laps to when he had a very good car, started second. Say what you want about Brandon Jones. He really improved.
He fell back early, but then he was up front. I'm like, okay, Brandon Jones is up front. He was doing good, but really did good at the end. Then Tyler Reddick second.
Tyler Reddick, he didn't lead a single lap.
Chase
Briscoe led 10 laps.
He led none.
I mean, Briscoe led 33.
But Briscoe, remember, he was slowing up for Garrett Smithley, but Bell clipped it because Briscoe checked up. Bell had no time. Bell clipped him, spun Bell out. Briscoe had rear damage and came back to finish third with that damage number 98. Michael Annett led 3 laps, fourth, after starting last because he messed up badly on his qualifying lap, which he washed up and had not like he messed up so badly. Justin Allgaier fifth. Then we had Clements sixth, Haley seventh, Nemechek, Sieg, and Ross Chastain.
That's the top 10.
The playoff notables.
I have Cole Custer. He finished 11th and actually led the most laps
with 85. Christopher Bell, after making contact with Briscoe with the same incident with Smithley, 12th after leading 69 laps. Gregson 13th after he hit the wall a couple times, finished 13th. Austin Cindric finished 25th because
Cindric had a few incidents,
including with Harrison Burton in the 18 on lap 70.
Cindric started third, and he's got a long way to make up in these next 2 races in order to get his spot in the Final Four. With that further said, with that said now, here are the NASCAR Xfinity Series championship standings in the round of 8. So we're now in race 2 of 3 when we come to Texas 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Christopher Bell has a 49-point advantage over the cutoff line.
Yeah.
He has the points lead in general, just 49 above the cut line. Cole Custer, second, 38 points above the cut line. Third, Tyler Reddick, plus 37, and plus 2 is Justin Allgaier. It's very close behind with Allgaier. Is Chase Briscoe, minus 2, is 5th seeded. 6th place, Michael Annett, minus 10. Minus 15, Noah Gragson, minus 28, Austin Cindric. It's a very close bunch heading into the next race at Texas, which we'll then talk about later from 2 weeks from now. That will be the second race in the round of 8. And just like the Cup Series, this round will determine the final four in the championship standings, which will, of course, set the field for the championship race at Homestead.
Yep.
So there you have that. Now, I know it's pretty quick, but we're already into the...
Wait, are you sure? We had ARCA, remember?
Yeah, we're going to head into the others category, which ARCA is in that list. Yeah. So for the ARCA Racing Series at Kansas, Christian Eckes led 43 laps en route to the victory. And with that, he clinched the title by 20 points over teammate and rival Michael Self, who finished second in the race after leading 37 laps and minus 20 below Christian Eckes for the title. I think Michael Self is a little too comfortable there. What do you think, Justin?
I think there was not just that. Michael Self was inconsistent. But not just that. He had 2 penalties, point penalties. He lost 25 points after Pensacola because ride height. The spoiler was too small. Do you want to know what else? 50-point penalty after post-race inspection in Michigan. He lost 75 points in 2 different races just because of penalties. So that's a reason why. That's a reason.
Right, and also if you look at Michael Self's last few races, the numbers do show he went from winning, every race, every other race, like in the early stages of the season, to getting finishes such as 14th at Salem. Like the Salem race really, really alarmed me for some reason. I felt like, oh boy, how's he going to recover from that 14th at Salem, even though he blew a motor? But IRP 6th place, just not good enough. In my opinion, the consistency was there, but just Christian Eckes was hot.
Yeah, like stop. IRP, Eckes did not win at IRP, but the thing about IRP, he actually finished second at IRP due to rain. He finished second behind his teammate Chandler Smith, and also because of that, Vanarini's number 20 car won the owner's title. People say, oh, the 20 should have not won the owner's title. Well, 6 wins. They have 5 wins with Chandler Smith, and Harrison Burton has a win in that car. I'm like, that 20 car has had speed. So I knew the 20 car would have won that owner's title, but really good for Christian Eckes over Brett Holmes. Brett Holmes got solid 3rd in the points. Travis Braden, which got 4th, but Joe Graf Jr. finished worse than them. He's driving for Chad Bryant, which is basically remnants from Cunningham Motorsports. He finished 5th, behind Brett Holmes and Travis Braden, which Travis Braden's driving for the AJ Fight team, and Brett Holmes is driving for his own team, which that's impressive for Brett Holmes.
Yeah, I'll give Brett Holmes credit hanging into the top championship standings. Yeah. So here's the final... Blake?
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. So here are the top 10 final championship standing results for the ARCA series. As aforementioned, Christian Eckes claimed the title, 20 points over Michael Self, and then Brett Holmes finished 3rd, minus 140. Travis Braden, minus 235, finished 4th. Joe Graf Jr., 5th, minus 385. And then further down the list, Tommy Vi Jr., Brad Smith, Tim Richmond, Corey Heim, and Chandler Smith.
Yep.
Were your top 10 in the final ARCA standings for 2019. The 2020 standings, sorry to interrupt you, Justin, will be out. I think it's already unveiled for next year.
The standings, or you meant the schedule?
I mean the schedule.
They don't have the TV contracts, but the only thing I know is that for the main ARCA series is MAV TV and Fox Sports going to share some races. And also, just want to say that because, Christian Eckes missed a race this year, the first Salem race, he did not win Rookie of the Year. They gave that Rookie of the Year to Tommy Vi Jr., Tommy Vi Jr. won Rookie of the Year at, I think he's in his 50s, I think. He could be in his 50s. Yeah, so he won. Yeah, he won Rookie of the Year this year because Krishnakus missed a race. He didn't. He raced every race. Let me just check. Tommy Vi Jr. Tommy Vi Jr. is 55. He's turning 55. He's 54, and he won the Rookie of the Year with one top 10 this season and a lap led. Yeah, Tommy Vi Jr. Yeah.
I mean, we also have Brad Smith in the final top 10 standings, anyways.
Yeah, but he races the whole season. He's not like Chandler Smith running 11 races, which his 11 races were just impressive this season.
Yeah, that is true. But I'll tell you,
yeah.
I mean, even him, he still finished up there. If you don't know Brad Smith, he raced in the Cup Series since the 80s.
Yeah. Another thing that's interesting is just like ARCA. It's interesting. You have
the ARCA
different
series, not the Cup Series.
Like you have different drivers. Like you have some talented young drivers. You have some older drivers that just want to race. That's really quite diverse. It's not like just young drivers in ARCA. No, there's older drivers. We've seen Ken Schrader drive for his own ARCA team. We've seen
and Ken Schrader became the oldest pole sitter in ARCA racing history this year at DuQuoin.
Yep, he has. And he still just competes, which is really
I give the guy credit, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of the 2019 ARCA Menard Series. Now on to the other race that took place. This one is on two wheels. For the motocross, we had under the Monster Energy Supercross exhibition event called the Monster Energy Cup, which took place at the Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Adam Santorello, a Florida Gulf Coast youngster, won overall, finishing second, and first in his motos. Then Eli Tomac finished second, this time to his teammate for Kawasaki, finishing first, third, and second in his motos. Then you have Malcolm Stewart, who got third, first, and third. Freezy with fourth, fifth, and fifth. And then Gazier with seventh, fourth, and fourth. Make up your top five overall in the Monster Energy Cup. Now, the interesting thing about the Monster Energy Cup is, unlike most motocross races, this race had 3 motos. But it's just an exhibition for money. Okay. Ready to talk about the upcoming races?
Yeah, because usually, we would take a long time with the recent races. We only took not even 20 minutes, so that's good.
We're going to head into a discussion after we cover the races, because we have a lot more to say, and Armani will join.
Okay.
He'll join up later.
Okay, so, yeah.
All right. This weekend, we have the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series racing at Martinsville for the first day of 500, which is a 500-kilometer race, the last short track event of the season.
Yep.
Round 33, and for the playoffs, it'll be the round of 8, race 1 of 3.
Yep.
And for the truck series, this is the Martinsville 200, round 21 of 23, and the second race in the round of 6.
Yep.
Formula One returns to the track for the Mexican Grand Prix at the famed Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City for round 18 of 21. Supercars returns after a controversial Bathurst 1000.
Yep.
The Gold Coast 600 in Surfers Paradise
Yep.
for week 13 of their 32 race tour. Sports Cars returns to full song this weekend, wrapping up 2 key campaigns. One of them, the 6-race tour of the European Le Mans Series, wraps up at the 4 hours of Portimao, and the VLN 9 will wrap up the 9-race Nürburgring Championship at the famed Nordschleife. Let's get started with the NASCAR Cup Series.
Ooh, it's going to be an interesting.
State of 500.
Yep, Martinsville.
We got some fun facts here, and I'll throw one right here. This is the only track on the NASCAR Cup schedule to have run every season in existence from 1949
Yep.
all the way to 2019.
Yeah, it is because the track was actually built in 47, but NASCAR 1949. It's the only race, and also what's interesting, recently, like the last I don't know how many years, I think since the 80s, I don't remember. The winner gets a grandfather clock, which that's the coolest trophy.
Very unique trophy.
Which if that would have been the grandfather clocks would have existed when Richard Petty started winning there, he would have 15 of them.
That's right, because Richard Petty does lead the number of wins here at Martinsville. But let's talk about the inaugural race all the way back in 1949. That was won by Red Byron.
Yep, and he
won the inaugural championship.
Yep.
The winner from earlier this year was Brad Keselowski, and last year's winner, Joey Logano.
After
in dramatic fashion.
Over him at March near, and Denny Hamlin was part of that battle at the end behind them.
Very interesting. So the list of multiple winners at Martinsville, like you mentioned, 15, Richard Petty. Then Darrell Waltrip has 11. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson tied with 9 wins apiece. The two legends from Hendrick Motorsports. Rusty Walls has 7. 6 wins shared each by Dale Earnhardt and Cale Yarborough, as well as Fred Lorenzen. Denny Hamlin has 5 wins at looking for a number 6. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. Jeffrey Bodine has 4. And then Harry Gant, Jim Pascal, Lee Petty, Ricky Rudd, Tony Stewart all have 3 wins. And then this list is huge. Buck Baker, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bobby Isaac, Junior Johnson, Brad Keselowski, Mark Martin, Herb Thomas, Curtis Turner, Bob Welborn, and Rex White all have 2 wins at the paperclip.
Kurt Busch has 2 wins?
Yes, he does.
Where did he get his first one? Because I know he won in 2014 was his recent one at Martinsville. Where did he win the other one? Like his first Martinsville win. What year was that? I don't even know. Let me go check.
I think it was during his Roush years because I don't remember Kurt Busch winning for Penske at Martinsville.
I'm just going to go figure this out because I don't know. Because I know he did win for James Finch.
I think it was 2005.
He ran 34 races and I'm just looking.
We find that out. Here are the most team wins at Martinsville. Hendrick Motorsports leads that, and I'm just doing the fall race because there's so many. Hendrick Motorsports leads the fall race wins list at Martinsville with 16. Junior Johnson and Associates with 9 wins. Petty Enterprises has 7 victories. Holman Mooney and Joe Gibbs Racing tie with 4 apiece. Richard Childress Racing has 3, and Herb Thomas, Carl Kiekhofer, Rex White, Budmore Engineering, Carscott, Roush Racing, and Team Penske all have 2 wins.
Hey, I figured out when Kurt Busch won. It was 2002. He won Bristol and Martinsville in 2002. So his second season, that's when he won at Martinsville. So 2002 and 2014 are his 2 Martinsville wins.
That's highly impressive.
Yep, 2002, sophomore season. You don't think a sophomore would win at Martinsville, which that was good. And I know that one of the things for Martinsville, Jimmy Johnson leads the active drivers with 9, but Denny Hamlin, he leads the chase drivers, wins at Martinsville with 5. Because he's a chase driver, Johnson is not. So if Denny Hamlin would win, what the heck? If Denny Hamlin would win, he would lock into the next round, which
in the Final 4, which is key, essential. I think Denny Hamlin, he came close the last 2 years from winning at Martinsville, especially in the fall race.
Yeah.
2017, he slipped up in the last restart. Last year, he really could have used a green-white checker to get
Yeah.
there.
I know in 2017 he had, before that he made contact with Chase Elliott. 2016, he was running good at one point until Jimmy Johnson just passed him back.
Took off, never looked back.
And-
Fun fact, the 2016 race and Martinsville and 2015 Martinsville have two key highlights for Jeff Gordon's career. The 2015 Martinsville race was Jeff Gordon's 93rd and final career cup win, while the 2016 fall race at Martinsville was
Final
Jeff
race.
Gordon's final race
Yep.
at Martinsville, or final race period as a race car driver in
Because
NASCAR.
he drove the 88, replacing Dale Earnhardt Jr.
So did Alex Bowman from
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that was really good for
Yeah.
that Hendrick team, and that prevailed Johnson into the Final Four, and then eventually Jimmy Johnson would win
The
in
rest is history.
2006. Yep.
Now, here are the most wins by manufacturer at the fall race in Martinsville.
Probably should.
Chevrolet leads the number with 30.
Oh
Ford
my
has 15
god.
wins. Plymouth has 6 victories. Oldsmobile, Dodge tied with 4 apiece. Pontiac, Toyota tied with 3, while Chrysler and Buick tie for 2, and Hudson has 1 victory. So there you have it. That's your facts list for Martinsville.
That was funny. You just said the most manufacturer wins. I just said Chevy. I knew Chevy was gonna have a lot.
But
30.
a lot of
Ooh.
stuff, you know.
I know one thing, that Hudson's not gonna return in NASCAR.
No, they've been dead for over almost half a century.
Yeah, so I know Martinsville's just gonna be pure entertainment.
Very entertainment.
Yep, because
And next year I'll be there for the spring race.
yep,
May
May
9th.
Yep.
Should be fun. Now, on to the NASCAR Truck Series
Yep.
for the Martinsville 200-kilometer event. This is
200
round
miles.
21 of the 23 race season. And as for the playoffs, it's the second of 3 races in the round of 6.
Yep. Which is the final race for trucks will be at ISM Raceway.
So earlier this year, Kyle Busch took the victory. Last year, Johnny Sauter won. And the first race, we go back all the way to 1995, the inaugural Truck Series season, won by Joe Ruttman. And the most wins is indeed Johnny Sauter. He has 4 at Martinsville. And 3 drivers have 3 wins each. Kevin Harvick, Dennis Setzer, and Mike Skinner. And 4 drivers are tied with 2 wins apiece. Kyle Busch, Matt Crafton, Denny Hamlin, and Bubba Wallace.
Yep.
So, in fact, I think Johnny Sauter will be my pick. We'll talk about picks later when we get further into
And
the podcast.
Also, do you know what's interesting about the
Go ahead.
KBM team?
Yeah.
In the fall race at Martinsville, they won 4 in a row. 2 of them was with Denny Hamlin in 2011, 2012, and 2013, 2014 was with Bubba Wallace. And Toyota won actually 5 in a row races from 2011, 2015 was Matt Crafton, 2015 in the 88. And then the recent Toyota winner in the fall race, Noah Gragson, 2 years ago, got his first career win.
So, yeah, like you mentioned, the most team wins here. We have Kyle Busch Motorsports leads that. I'm just looking at the fall race with 5. Roush Fenway Racing, Bill Davis Racing, and GMS Racing are tied with 2 wins apiece. And then the most make wins in the fall, Toyota 10 total. And then Chevy with 3, Ford with 2, and Dodge has 1 win. And here's a fun fact. That win from Dodge, Jamie McMurray, his only Truck Series victory.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, no, his most recent Truck Series win.
Oh, yeah.
Because he ran, it was full-time in the 1999 season.
I know that, he drove for Ultra Motorsports. The first winner in the fall race, John Wood in the 50 for Roush, the first fall race.
John Wood was on a hot streak driving for Jack Roush in the Truck Series during that time.
Ricky Craven also. Roush has 2 wins, I think. Yeah, Roush has 2.
Yes. John
03.
Wood, Ricky Craven.
Yeah. We had different winners, like Timothy Peters driving for Premier Racing in a number 1 Toyota.
That was his first ever win.
Yep, 2009. But the last time we had an overtime in the fall race, 2010. With Ron Hornaday winning, the race was extended 206 laps. So that's the last time we had an overtime at Martinsville in the fall.
Usually you get a pretty stacked entry list for the truck race.
Which
at Martinsville.
that's just going to be up, tomorrow. That's the only year that there was an overtime finish. All the other years, 200 laps. Except 2010 was extended to 206 laps. That's the only race that didn't end under regulation, which is interesting.
And it's surprising, especially when we're talking about a short track like Martinsville.
Where you see bumpers and fenders tore up.
And flaring tempers.
Oh, we've seen that so many times with tempers flaring at Martinsville.
Okay. Now, on to Formula One.
Yep.
For the Mexican Grand Prix, this is the 18th round of the 21 race tour. The first race was won here by Jim Clark in 1963. Last year, Max Verstappen took the win. Now, here's a fun fact. Every single Mexican Grand Prix is held at the Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, dating back to 1963. And we have a four-way tie for the most wins at Mexico City, with each of them having 2 wins. Those drivers include Jim Clark from 1963 and 1967. And from 1988 and 1990, we had Alain Prost, Nigel Mansell from 1987 and 1992. And then the last 2 years, Max Verstappen brought himself onto the 2-time winners list at the Grand Prix of Mexico. Also, the most constructors win. We have a 3-way tie for that as well. And those constructors include Lotus from the inaugural race back in 63 and 67, as well as 68. McLaren won 3 times in 69, 88, and 89.
Williams
has 3.
Wow. 87, 91, 92. And there's 3 teams with 2 victories. Ferrari in 1970 and 1990. Mercedes 2015, 2016. Red Bull 2017, 2018.
Basically the 2 wins for Max Verstappen.
And manufacturers, Honda has 4 wins. 65, 87, 88, 89. Climax has 62 to 64. Ford 67, 68, 69. There's two Ferrari 1970, 1990, Renault 91, 92, Mercedes 2015, 2016, and Tag Heuer, which is basically the Red Bull thing, 2017 and 2018. And there's only 93 to 2014 where the race was not held.
Right, and then they brought the track back with a tilt design circuit from 2015.
Also, 71 to 85, there was no race there either. Which Gerhard
Berger
won in 86, and then after that was the first time they brought it back, and the second time they brought it back was Nico Rosberg 2015, and then next year was Lewis Hamilton, which was good. That race is going to be a 71-lap race at a 2.674 mile road course. Not an oval. It's not an oval.
No, there is an oval variation that the NASCAR Mexico Series has ran at the facility, but that's for another time.
Yeah, it's not F1 does not race on ovals. I don't think that would
Blake,
not go well.
You got anything to say about the Mexico City track?
So about the track, it's a very demanding track, and it really challenges every aspect of the car and the driver. We have a very, very long pit straightaway, and then we have some very fast corners and some very slow and medium speed corners as well. So pretty much every aspect of the car and driver and the tires are tested here. So this means that the winner is going to be the best car and driver combination possible, pretty much, theoretically speaking.
Right, and we've seen some variations of the Mexico City circuit. From 1963, 1970, we had, of course, the traditional layout where the front stretch is all the way down, and turn one had like a curvy style corner. And then from 86 to 92, we had the traditional layout that saw the chicane after the first set of corners, where they made a left, right, left, and then another right-hander before that straightaway, and then they would go into some more turns, which, if you remember the NASCAR Xfinity Series, which is present-day Xfinity Series, back then it was the Busch and Nationwide Series, they would actually use the hairpin style track for the circuit, and that would actually have a chicane past the start finish line before the turn one, slow the cars down. And after 2006, NASCAR made the decision to remove the chicane, which was popular by many because they caused some issues, of course, before the first turn. It was a very fast, flowy chicane.
Yeah.
So they go about 185 down in turn one. And that would bring us some interesting stuff too. So you've seen it all here. And then, of course, with that same race weekend, we had no, it was not that same race weekend, but we had Champ Car have their events. But actually, no, NASCAR and Grand Am had their own race weekend together.
Yeah. Also, there was a dog running on the track before.
Yes,
practice.
2005, the inaugural race.
Yeah, there was a dog running on the racetrack.
And that race was won by Martin Truex Jr. And in fact, Denny Hamlin's first win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, believe it or not, was at Mexico City in 2006. He held off Boris Said.
And then 2000.
Who holds off Boris Said to win at Mexico City? Like, that's really golden. And in 2007, we had a pretty controversial finish when Juan Pablo Montoya and Scott Pruitt made contact in the first corner. The two Ganassi Racing teammates who less than 2 months before won together at the 24 Hours of Daytona for Chip Ganassi. Then Juan Montoya won his first ever stock car race in controversial fashion, winning at Mexico City, but the fans loved it. It felt like an F1 victory. They were so loud. And 2008, the last race at Mexico City, was won by Kyle Busch. We really got to see Rowdy's first true performance on a road course.
Yeah.
But back to Formula One, that's NASCAR, and I would love to see the NASCAR series, Xfinity Series, return there someday, and even IndyCar. I think IndyCar should return to that circuit as well, as long as they can just change the layout a little bit. I think Herman Tilke really, really put the rolling eyes portion of Mexico City.
Oh my God.
I mean, not to take anything away from Herman Tilke, this is one of his better designs. The 2015 layout has a change in variety where we see more sharp corners and a DRS zone, as well as there's a baseball stadium called Foro Sol, which is in turn 14, known as Peraltada. And Foro Sol was used to be home to the Diablos Rojo de Mexico, and they've hosted them, according to Wikipedia. I know I like to cite Wikipedia a lot because that's the easiest reference I can use. And plus, it's not college. Wikipedia doesn't have to be scholarly. It's a podcast.
Well,
but Iron Maiden, Paul McCartney, Metallica, Pink Floyd, Santana, Rolling Stones, Madonna, Stone Temple Pilots, Nine Nails, U2, Radiohead, and etc. They've all played there. But there's a portion of the track that takes you through Foro Sol, including the podium. The podium usually lies around like the front stretch, right? But the podium in Mexico City is actually where the last two turns are. So, got fun facts? You want fun facts? You got fun facts.
All
right, Blake.
So
Also, Lewis Hamilton, I just want to mention, he has a chance to claim the title.
Yeah, if he does good. He just basically has to do good. Which. Oh my god. Yeah, he just has to do good. Because
so for statistical facts, I'm using Wikipedia for this, so if there's any errors, just let me know. But according to Wikipedia, the race information number of times held 20, first held in 1962. Most wins as for the drivers is Jim Clark at 3.
yeah.
Most wins for constructors is Lotus with 4.
Yep.
The circuit length for the current track is 4.304 kilometers or 2.674 miles. The race length in laps is 71, which is equivalent to 305.354 kilometers or 189.738 miles.
Yep.
Do you want me to include the last year's race as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So last year's race, the pole position was won by Daniel Ricciardo with a 1 minute 14.759. The podium was Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, and Kimi Räikkönen in that order, respectively. Fastest lap was set by Valtteri Bottas
Yep.
in Mercedes with a 1 minute 18.741.
All right, so I'm going to pull up Hamilton's clinching scenarios. You finish up, like.
I was just saying that's it for the statistics of the race.
So Lewis Hamilton does have a clinching scenarios heading into the Mexican Grand Prix. And here is the scenarios. So So if Lewis Hamilton wins the race and claims the fastest bonus point, which now you get the bonus point for getting the fastest lap. If Hamilton wins and gets the bonus point, Bottas, his Mercedes counterpart, must finish third or higher.
Okay. What happens
So
if
Hamilton wins the race and
gets the fast lap and, like, example, Bottas finishes 5th?
It's over.
Yeah. And people
must win for that to happen.
Hey, probably people will say, "Ugh, that's bull." It should be NASCAR.
Are from ESPN.com. Just to, of course, give credit to my sources.
Most people are probably going to do this. This is bull crap. This is not good. There should be playoffs because NASCAR is better. I know there's some fans going to be doing that.
Those aren't fans.
And also, people say that's bad. Nick DeVries clinched the championship.
It's not bad at all.
Before
it was just good.
He clinched it after the feature race at which they only have one more race at Abu Dhabi. In Russia, the feature race. He clinched it during the feature race. So here's some more clinching scenarios according to ESPN.com. They stated that if Hamilton wins and does not claim the bonus point for the fastest lap, Bottas has to finish 4th or higher to stay mathematically alive. Okay, that's interesting.
Now, here's the other list. If Hamilton finishes 2nd, Bottas must finish 7th or higher, regardless of whether Hamilton claims the bonus point for the fastest lap.
Okay.
So it's really going to be tough.
Because it's only we know it's only Mercedes because after that race at where we were Japan, both Ferraris and the Red Bull of Verstappen were out of it because of that. Because and And Ferrari just has to start making their better pit calls compared to this year, which they were not bright this year. The first half of the season, they were doing stupid calls and not thinking right and basically giving Lewis Hamilton just wins. And yeah. So
Okay, so let me just finish off the championship clinching scenarios. If Hamilton finishes third and claims the bonus point for the fastest lap, Bottas must finish 8th or higher. And then the last circumstance here, we have Hamilton, if he finishes third and does not claim the bonus point for the fastest lap, Bottas must finish 9th or claim the bonus point and finish 10th. So it's really, in other words, it's technically close, these two. I mean, not close, but it's close for Hamilton to win the title than it is for Bottas to save his chances.
Because
and
next...
let me just finish here from ESPN.com. They stated with only 12 points on offer for 4th position, Hamilton cannot win the title if he fails to score a podium, even if Bottas fails to finish the race in that scenario. So Hamilton still needs to do great.
Yeah. And you're talking about, one other thing about Mexico? You know that Mercedes had good speed on the straights? They're going to have the same speed on the straights. So they're going to be good down the straightaways. With their performance, they could do good. And Lewis Hamilton won there before 2016. If he could have that power again, start up front, he might win it again.
I think it's going to be a really close call there, Blake.
Yeah, I think it's going to be real close, and I mean, it's not going to be easy for Hamilton to win it at this stage.
No, I mean, Bottas must give it all.
Yep.
And I think the main driver you want to look out for is Max Verstappen, because he won the past 2 races there. He knows the track better than anyone else.
Yep, he does.
Especially with the layout.
Yeah.
But right now, with the championship being as close as it is, I mean, I'd imagine most of the drivers and the teams are really starting to put their sights into the championship right now.
Right, but that's all if Hamilton drops the ball, which I don't think is going to happen.
Just Lewis Hamilton, he's done good this season, really strong, which he might stay strong.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. What's the word? I'm dropping the ball here. You can't help but say, I mean, Mercedes are the top dogs this season still.
Yeah.
And have been since 2014. They're still this season the top dogs. So it really is down to the drivers on Mercedes' part. It's not, and they have the best car and they have some of the best drivers out there. It's only if Lewis Hamilton drops the ball, and that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But that being said, that doesn't mean that anybody else can catch up, and at this point, it's still anybody's championship.
I mean, we'll definitely get a good preview on who's going to be in this title next year. But sooner or later, Mercedes' dominance is going to come to a stop in the early portions of the season.
Well, depends. It depends what Ferrari does.
Ferrari, they wind it up very long. When you wind up a toy, pull it back, and then you release the trigger. Ferrari did not release the trigger until really, I guess, Germany this year.
Remember when they did
their win at Spa?
Their strategy was not good at. Remember their strategy at Russia that did not play out. They
No,
thought they were not even in the title fight
they
then.
failed before they even tried.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing about the like, so yeah, F1 they're going to Mexico.
Yeah, I think the Mexico Grand Prix will be one of the better races, and plus, unlike the Japanese Grand Prix, at least we won't have to be up in the middle of the night for it. Unfortunately, it's the people back in Asia; they're going to have to be up in the middle of the night.
Hey, and another good thing about that is that it's not on an ESPN channel. It is kind of ABC.
The main network for once.
Hey, they do that for the U.S. Grand Prix, the Canadian Grand Prix, and the Mexican Grand Prix. Only 3 races. All the others, ESPN or ESPN2. So yeah, and
in the last maybe I want to say decade, they've always done that where they have 3 or 4 races in America that they will cover, which is usually including the Monaco Grand Prix on the
big network,
like,
that you don't have to pay for.
Like you had, like when they did with NBC.
Yep, and even before that
Speed
with
Fox
and Speed. Yeah.
One thing was interesting about F1. There was the Canadian Grand Prix was on NBC in 2017. There was a dude that's from the UK that I watch his content on YouTube. He was in the United States. He figured out that it was on NBC from a fan. He was watching it at his hotel room. He was confused because Sky Sports, they don't go to commercial. Now NBC went side by side, and he was confused. And he was confused from the Lee Diffie was the commentator. He was confused
because they had a different commentary crew.
Yeah. But ABC,
and now we just simulcast
Sky Sports.
Just
Sky Sports.
I'm not gonna lie. Sky Sports F1, they do a great job. I love David Croft. He's so enthusiastic. I think he's one of the best play-by-play commentators there is to offer.
Sky Sports.
Huge fan of Jensen Button, Karun Chandlock, all those guys. Martin Brundle. They do a great job. But we had our own version of our commentary crew with NBC, and even back then with Speed Vision and Speed, with Lee Diffie, Bob Varsha would do the play-by-play, and then the color analyst we had David Hobbs, who won 1962 24 Hours of Daytona, and Steve Matchett, and for some races we had Sam Posey. Well, that was back in Speed days.
Other thing. Sky Sports, because we said don't. Hey, Sky Sports, if you don't take down the stream, we just want to give you. We just want to mention you because you guys do a good job of broadcasting, and your commentators are good.
All right, let's not get too much into opinions. Let's get back into the racing here.
We have supercars to talk about.
Yep, the Gold Coast 600.
That will be round 25, rounds 26 and 27 of 32 for week 13 of the 15-week tour. And we have a lot to talk about in the realm of V8 supercar racing. Some good, some bad. Let's just start with the good and kick off the Gold Coast 600. Last year's winners, race 1 was Chaz Mostert, James Moffitt, and race 2 was abandoned due to inclement weather. And the reason for that is according to their rules, if they cannot resume a race from red flag and it's before the halfway distance, that race will not count towards the championship. Therefore, the race was abandoned.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, so they don't race in the rain.
Well, they do race in the rain, but the weather was just so.
Oh, I thought it was, when you said when you said about abandoned, I thought it was like a bad crash that happened. That's why. No, okay.
But these will be 2 300-kilometer 102 lap events, and I think this year they're racing in the night. The Gold Coast 600. Double check on that. We'll talk about the time of day later. The first race was 2009, won by Garth Tander, and the other race was won by Mark Winterbottom. And most wins, Jamie Whincup leads the category with most wins at 5. Shane Van Gisbergen, the Kiwi, has 3 wins, while Garth Tander, Mark Winterbottom, Sebastian Bourdais, Jonathan Webb, Paul Dumbrell, Steve Owen, Alexander Premont, and Chas Monster each all have 2 wins.
Sebastian Bourdais?
Yeah, he was in the. All right. Most make wins. Yeah, the former F1 and IndyCar and current IndyCar driver. Most make wins. We have Holden. They have 12 victories over Ford with 7. And most team wins, Triple Eight Race Engineering has 7 victories. Tickford Racing with 4. Holden Racing Team has 3. Techno Autosports, excuse me, have 2 wins. And Red Nosh Racing has 2 wins as well.
I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at Hey, by the way, I'm just searching. Race 26 is at 1 a.m. Eastern, and race 20. Both races are at 1 a.m. Eastern time. Okay.
Right, but
Yeah.
Joe, weren't you talking about night as far as the local time of the race?
Local time.
So I've actually looked up the local times.
Oh, I see it. It's afternoon.
So it's going to be starting. Both races are going to start at 3 o'clock local time to the track.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So it might go into the afternoon, but it probably won't be night. By
So
the
3
end
o'clock local time. When would that be for us?
I'm looking here from. It would be. Okay, it would be 1 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, not bad, not as bad as I thought.
Well, for me, where I live, for me it's 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Hey, it's better than 3 a.m.
Yeah, like the Chinese Grand Prix started 3 a.m. for you, 2 a.m. for Eastern time.
Yeah, I'm glad F1 races will be all.
Next year's going to be very tough because the first 3 races of the season, we got Australia, the new Vietnam Grand Prix, and then the Chinese Grand Prix, the first 3 rounds next year.
Yeah,
we're not going to have the easiest sleep.
The sleep schedule is not going to be good. Like this year, Bahrain was race 2, so Bahrain was easy, but 3 races in a row.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because they have the Asian Pacific Tour.
Yeah, which the first one is
Australia. Round 4.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Formula 1 in just a moment because we do have to get into sports car racing. And there's 2 key events that are taking place this weekend. And that will be the 6th and final round of the 2019 ELMS European Le Mans Series. The 4 hours of Portimao in Portugal.
Okay.
The first race was ran as a 1,000-kilometer event under the Le Mans Series in 2009, won by Pescarolo Sport. And the Pescarolo 01 Evo. 2010 was won by Team Oreca with the Peugeot 908 HDI FAP diesel. And then they did not return to Portimao until 2017 under the ELMS banner as a 4-hour race won by Graf in the Oreca 07. And last year's winner was the United Autosports Ligier JSP 217.
Okay, that was weird. I was just going to see the entry list. It was in French. Even if I understand French.
Send me that link, Justin.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
My computer is running very slow.
So yes, one thing I noticed is that the ELMS has kind of abandoned LMP1.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Due to lack of entrance.
Come on. Entry list. There, I sent it. There, I sent the entry list, which not bad field. They have 18, 13, 8. They have 39 entries in total. 39 entries. They have United
Wow,
Autosport.
that's a stacked
Yeah.
LMP2
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah. Well, look at it,
I'm
18
just looking at it right
cars.
now. High class racing.
They have the United
United
Autosport.
Autosport won last year. They have Philip Hansen, Felipe Albuquerque. Most of these guys, most of the entries have 3 drivers, but I've noticed only a few have 2. But I like what I see from. Sorry to interrupt you there. I like what I see from G Drive Racing number 26. Rosinov, Jean-Eric Verne, Jean Van Uter.
They also have 2 IDEC cars. They also have Panis Barthez number 23 and 24. They have a good entry. LMP3, they have 13 entries. 2 Nielsen cars. Other teams, 8 LMGTEs cars. Which I hope that there's still not just Thomas Prenning in the 88. Because
it's still showing him in the 88. There's no way you could run a 4-hour race like that by yourself. I'm sure there's 2 other. I think this isn't a complete list yet, because I know spots are probably making sure everybody has 3 drivers at least, or at least 2 drivers in the cars.
Yeah, it's not like in 1950 Le Mans. There's this dude and his son. His dad drove 23 hours, 17 minutes of the race. Well, guess what his son did? His son only raced 2 laps.
That's a very one-sided team.
During the middle of the race to let his dad have a bathroom break and food break. But his dad ran 23 hours of the race and they won. The 19... Yes.
He probably wasn't concentrating enough to focus on his health.
And now you can't do that because
you have regulations. Everybody must have a certain number of drivers for a car.
Yeah, you can't just do 23 hours for one person and then 15 to 45 minutes for another person. No, you can't do that anymore.
And I think there's also regulations on what specifically what a driver can do, how many hours they can be in the car, and they can't really neglect their health because they're pretty much breaking a rule if they do that.
True. All right, so the Portimao circuit is in Algarve, Portugal, or Algarve, and it's an FIA Grade 2 circuit. And in my opinion, I would love to see that circuit become a track for a Portugal Grand Prix. But, if it ain't made by Herman Tilke.
They used to race there.
Oh, really?
They used to have a Portuguese Grand Prix there. That was way back, though, in the 80s and 90s.
There should be a Kentucky Grand Prix.
No.
Why not? They just put a road course like Kentucky Speedway, the Kentucky Grand Prix.
The track has evolved just a little bit, but the main feel of the circuit that it had back in the day is still there. And it's still a very fast circuit. And I think that if it's not destroyed by Herman Tilke, it would be a good Grand Prix circuit.
I actually, funny thing, because my college binder, I made my own version of a Herman Tilke track because I was just sitting bored in class one day, and I find it funny. I actually sent it through Skype.
Oh, I saw that.
This reminds me of Southpaw Racers series, How to Ruin a Racetrack. That's basically Herman Tilke.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention, I'm not gonna lie, he did do a good job with the Circuit of the Americas, but the thing is, too many pointy corners. Okay, we just got a question from the annoying one. His question is it Alex?
Yep.
What is your favorite pop / soda?
Ooh.
Mine is Dr. Pepper.
Y'all gonna kill me for this. Diet Coke.
Mine is Diet Coke, but by the way, I hope Alex hadn't heard that because he doesn't like Coke. He likes Pepsi better. Oh goodness, I hope he doesn't rip us.
I wish Pepsinogen had something to do with Pepsi. Then I can remember the atoms better for the amino acids. I'm learning. I got a quiz on amino acids and nutrition on Wednesday, and there's a lot of Pepsinogen, Pepsin. I'm like, come on, can you just admit it's Pepsi? Like, no, it's not.
I know that. After in a couple weeks, there'll be some other racing, like the WEC will be Shanghai later in November.
Right.
We also have.
We're going to talk about VLN.
We also have this coming weekend, the 27th. We have the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix, MotoGP. Actually, I think that's a good segue into it.
Yeah, let's talk about the VLN 9 first of all. We'll head into the MotoGP in a moment, but the VLN wraps up their 2019 series with VLN 9 at the Nürburgring.
Okay. Because
Justin, you try to find that entry list out there.
I was gonna say that I was about to say that there's a Champ Car Endurance Series race at Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia. There's going to be 2 races, 1 8-hour race on Saturday and a 7-hour race on Sunday. I was just going to say that.
Where are they racing?
Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia. They were in Road America They were racing at they were in not Las Vegas, Road America.
I don't know how Las Vegas entered your mind all the way from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
All right, so here are the main components. I'm just going to read off the GT3 main components for the VLN. I guess that's VLN 8. Whoops. Trying to find the VLN 9 entry list. I don't know if it came out yet, but usually the guys I look at are Black Falcon, Get Speed Performance, the 991 Porsche, and a lot of the GT3s you saw at the Nürburgring 24 Hours, they run the VLN races.
Okay, that makes at least their team names are not weird.
Most of them.
Hey, not compared to the Champ Car Endurance Series. One of the teams broke in 60 seconds racing.
Wow.
They literally
Whose
have.
idea was that?
I don't know. There's some people have Cone Crushers, Clowns Alley. I know these teams are just weird.
Well, back to the VLN.
So it's the last race of their 9-season tour. I'm actually looking for the VLN championship standings right now. I mean, I sometimes check in for a few races here and there, but because they all run at the Nürburgring and it's just really for track experience more than it is for a championship, I kind of check out a little and usually just watch the what's it called?
I can't even find that VLN 9 entry either.
I just refer to the VLN 8 because it's pretty simple. Most of the guys are going to be racing. Most of the big sports car drivers, they're in Portimao.
Yeah, I mean, most people, to be fair, most people only pay attention to the 24 hours, but the VLN, is it's interesting from a perspective of, I mean, it's at the same track every time, so so for it to be a championship at the same track is a little weird, but it's different and
A
interesting.
great way to enhance your knowledge at a circuit so complex and it's so complex and tricky. To get the experience you need, you can really benefit from the VLN. All right, Black Falcon, according to VLN.de, is the favorite for winning the Road Speed Trophy, which they run the Mercedes AMG GT3s, and they usually have dominant cars. And I know they fielded like 6-7 of them at the 24-hour race this year. But they are battling the Road Speed. I mean, excuse me, they're actually battling 3 other teams to get the Road Speed Trophy, and that would be the number 2 Mercedes AMG GT3 car, which is the Get Speed Performance team, and then the number 5 Audi R8 LMS of Phoenix Racing has a good shot as well. Number 4 Porsche 911 GT3 R of the Falcon Tire Motorsports. And here's a fun fact: bonus points with 3 from 3 to 1 bonus points can be awarded to the top 3 cars in timed practice. Very interesting.
So you mentioned that was it the 5 Audi?
Yes.
Was that the car that won the 24 hours?
Yeah, I think they won this year for the 24 hours on Nürburgring.
I think I remember it being an Audi that won, and I think it was the 5.
I'm looking it up right now. My pick was the number 29 Land Motorsport Audi by Monteplast Racing. And they had a penalty and a tire go down the worst possible place on the racetrack early in the Nordschleife. You cannot recover from a blown tire early in the Nordschleife.
Yeah, because it's a very, very long and demanding track on the suspension and tires.
And you have to limp all the way around that track to get back to the pit.
And that's absolutely
That's
going to rip your car apart. Your car is not going to last that entire lap with a flat
to
tire.
answer your question, Blake, the number 4 car for Audi Sport Team Phoenix did win the 24 hours on Nürburgring. Their number was 4. And it was driven by Pierre Casper, Frank Stippler, Dries Vanthoor, and Frederick Verzovich.
Okay.
We got another question, I guess. Alex asks, what do you all think of the Nürburgring? Oh, okay. Nürburgring.
Personally, it's one of my favorite circuits. I've done many, many laps in the Gran Turismo games of it, and I just love the way that it's got some very unique and different corners, and it takes a lot of bravery to lap it fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
For me, I just like Nürburgring. Like, I do like how it's laid out, because sometimes, like, when I drive it, like, I've already driven multiple different cars, but never try a NASCAR stock car at Nürburgring, because it doesn't drive well. Like, the car just doesn't want to work. But I've driven different sports cars. I've driven a Corvette. I've driven different cars like a Porsche, like basically an LMP1, LMP2 car, basically around the track, and it drives good. I like the track.
You said you tried a stock car on it.
Yeah, it does
not. For one, yeah, I mean, a stock car is just not going to work around the Nürburgring, because there's so much involved with the suspension and the
Yeah.
handling of the car. And a stock car is not really made for that. It's a very big car,
Yeah.
very
I mean, I
sluggish on
think
a
the
road
stock car
course.
would be more ideal on the Grand Prix circuit. I don't know about the whole North.
Yeah,
The Grand Prix
I've done
circuit, yeah.
Yeah, I've done the whole circuit with a stock car. I'm like, I don't even know why. I'm like, really? And the car just didn't want to turn in most corners.
Same back when I played Gran Turismo 6.
Stock cars are usually very sluggish on road courses. They're not the fastest.
Adds to the entertainment factor.
But yeah, and to put that into perspective in real life, every year for a number of years now, Zach Speed has I think it was Zach Speed, but I can't remember now, but there's always been a Viper in the 24 hours.
Yes, it's usually a lime green Viper.
And that car usually doesn't do great because it's a very big and heavy car.
Right, but they usually qualify well for their class. And I know they had like a blown tire this year at the Nürburgring 24 hours and had a rough time getting it through the Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked because that's like just one of my favorite cars on the grid. But I think my honest opinion, my favorite car from the Nürburgring 24 hours has to be and probably will always be the Opel Manta.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about with the stuffed animal?
Oh yeah.
Flying out the antenna.
The
That
Germans love their jokes.
such a cute car. Not gonna lie, it's like you see it pass, you see it go by, and it just puts a smile into your face.
Yeah.
Everyone gave a standing ovation when that Manta returned in the racetrack on the final hour of the race.
It's like the equivalent to a car guy of a girl looking at a cute cat. It's like, oh, it's so cute.
Okay, so there you have it for the VLN 9. We're going to get back into our predictions here because we have so much time to spend on this podcast. So let's get back to Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah.
And
okay.
get started with the first state of 500 this upcoming Sunday. And we'll do this in comparison to the 8 drivers left in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. We'll go one by one per driver. How about we do that? We'll do one by one for each driver, and we'll assess their Martinsville performance. So let's start off with Kyle Busch. When I wrote down the multiple winners, he appeared with 2 Martinsville victories, 2016 in the spring, 2017 in the fall. Along with that, he has 2 Truck Series victories, 2017 and earlier this year, in 2019. But something interesting I learned about Kyle Busch at Martinsville is the amount of truck races he's lost there.
Right.
Outnumber the number of times he's won in both Cup and Trucks. But we've got to look at the Cup Series side of things.
What, you said 2017?
Yeah, Kyle Busch won the Cup race 2 years ago.
I thought you said what? I know he won in for the Truck Series. He won 2018.
No, he won 2019 this year and 2016.
Yeah, you said 2017 by accident for the Truck Series.
I must have been talking about the
because the Truck Series. I just realized that it was Gragson. Who won it before? I think it was Chase Elliott.
Was it Chase?
Yeah, Chase drove the 23.
Oh yeah, Chase Elliott. I completely forgot.
Yeah, he drove the 23 for GMS. Yeah.
And last year for the Truck Series that was won by Johnny Stoddard and Johnny Hunter Nemechek. This year, Kyle Busch took the victory. Let's get back into the Cup Series, though. We'll have more to talk about on the trucks for later. But Kyle Busch here, I'm going to write him down. I'm not going on the computer because it's just so slow today. So I'm on Racing Reference now. We'll just kick it off with Rowdy, and you can go results by track, Monster Energy Cup, get the data. And then go to Martinsville. So he's made 28 starts there and has a total, according to Racing Reference.info, is 28 total starts and has led a total of 1,424 laps. Along with that, 2 wins gives him an average of 7.1 possibility to win at Martinsville, 16 top 5, 17 top 10s, an average start of 11.0, an average finish of 12.0, 1 total DNF at Martinsville.
I also just realized about Kyle Busch. He would have 29 races at Martinsville. It would be his 30th race, but he missed the first race of 20. He missed the first Martinsville race 2015 due to his broken leg, which he would have had his 30th start at Martinsville this weekend if he would have made that, if he didn't break his leg.
Right. And if we go to his Truck Series stats at Martinsville, they're worth the look. He has a total of 10 starts there at the Paperclip from 2005 to 2019, and has 2 wins, 6 top 5, 7 top 10s, average start 8.1, average finish of 9.5, and 1 DNF. So yeah, there you have it with Kyle Busch.
Yep.
He will be a favorite for sure this weekend. We'll come up with predictions pretty soon. But yeah, there you have it for Kyle Busch. Let's move on down. Let's move down to Martin Truex Jr. Truex left Martinsville for the wrong reasons last year. All right, let's get into Martin Truex Jr. from Marietta, New Jersey. The 2017 Monster Energy Cup Series champion. And Truex at Martinsville. Total of 27 starts. So his first race was 2006. He finished 19th. And Truex has no wins, but 5 top 5s, 11 top 10s, average finish of 14.6, average finish of 18.0, and DNF twice.
Ooh. I know one of his DNFs at Martinsville.
2014.
2011 was another one of them.
Had a very big crash with Casey Kane.
Yep, when Martin Truex Jr. lost his brakes, I know. Ooh, that was a bad crash.
Very scary to see the brakes fail at a short track.
Yep.
Okay, so there's Martin Truex Jr.
Yep.
And let's move on to another driver. There's Denny Hamlin. And Denny Hamlin is very synonymous to Martinsville Speedway because not only does he have 5 wins there, that's his home track.
One of them, not his home track. One of them, he has 2 home tracks, but he's really good at Martinsville.
Very. And we go to Denny Hamlin, who will be 39 years old. I can't believe he's turning 39 next month. Man, does time fly.
Well, Martin Truex Jr. is also 39.
Boy, oh boy.
They're both born in 1980.
So, yeah. So Hamlin's stats at Martinsville, in fact, his first start is very impressive. Of the 27 races, the first start, he ran in the number 11 car back in 2005 after Jason
part-time, yeah.
Who's got kicked out from the team. he started 5th and finished 8th.
And this, part-time first start. That's really impressive. At Martinsville, you talk about Martinsville, one of the toughest racetracks for rookies. He's running part-time then, started 5th, finished 8th. That's
He won the
impressive.
pole at Charlotte that year, which put him in the Bud Shootout, and he did the unthinkable and won the Bud Shootout.
In
Holding off
2006.
Tony Stewart of all people.
Yeah,
And Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, his teammate, Tony Stewart and Dale Jr. Oh, my.
This
Yeah.
is why people who undermine Denny Hamlin piss me off so much.
Well,
They just don't understand how good he is of a driver.
You do realize there's still some Chase fans pissed after.
We'll
still
talk about
mad.
that race
Yeah, that's
we
why.
get- when we get to 2017.
Some people.
But
are
that's a
still
whole
mad.
other discussion.
Yeah, some people are still mad at that.
Oh, Patriots game just started. I'm a New England Patriots fan.
I'm gonna be watching that soon.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching that after the
Right.
podcast.
They are playing against the New York Jets tonight. They are undefeated, but this is not the Below the End Zone podcast. This is the Below the Yellow Line podcast.
Yes. Yeah, we have to stay on the topic.
Oh yeah, so we're in Denny Hamlin now,
Yeah.
and Hamlin has 5 wins, 14 top 5s, so over 50% of his finishes in his races at Martinsville have been top 5, and 20 top 10s, which make up 74.1% of his average finish in the top 10. Is the possibility is reach up to 74%. Average start 9.0, average finish 9.6, and only 2 DNFs.
Wow.
And
That's
he's
impressive.
led of the 27 starts of his NASCAR career at Martinsville. He led a total of 1,536 laps.
Whoa. Ooh. Yeah, wow.
Very. So let's assess the wins that Denny Hamlin had at Martinsville. The first came in 2008, round 6 of the Sprint Cup Series for the Goodies 500. Denny Hamlin led 82 laps of the 500 to get the win. He held off Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson, and Tony Stewart. It's a very competitive top 5.
Wait, how many laps he led?
82.
Oh, I thought you said 482. I'm like, what?
No, that would be like unbeatable.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll happen at Martinsville in the Cup Series because that's tough enough to win at Martinsville. It's not easy track Martinsville to learn.
It may look easy. It's not easy.
Nope, it's not.
All right, then. So there's the first race at Martinsville that Hamlin won, and then he did not win another time. And this gets really impressive. He later on wins 3 in a row from 2009 to the next 2 races in 2010. So Denny Hamlin won the 2009 Chase race at the Paperclip. He led 206 of 501 laps, meaning the race ended in a green white checker, over Jimmy Johnson, Juan Montoya, Kyle Busch, and Jeff Gordon. So once again, tough to beat. He didn't just walk away with the victory there.
When was Denny Hamlin's last win at Martinsville?
We'll get there because here's the second of his 3 consecutive wins at Martinsville, which took place in 2010 on a Monday, which I do remember. I was a 5th grader that day. Came home, I convinced my mom enough to pick me up from school, and she did so. And I remember we went to Dunkin' Donuts, and I would always order a chocolate glazed donut at Dunkin' mainly because it's the healthier choice. So I do remember coming home early that day and watching it. And Denny Hamlin, here's a fun fact. He did have a knee surgery that same week after playing basketball just for fun with his friends.
Yeah.
He hurt his knee and needed surgery.
Yep.
So, yeah, Hamlin led 172 laps. And sorry for that anecdote. I just had to get it out there. Hamlin led 172 laps of the 508. So another green white checker situation.
Oh, that race, I remember it now.
Over teammate Joey Logano.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Martin Truex Jr.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now because Kenseth overdrove the corner.
Up
Oh,
and had to finish an abysmal 18th after nearly executing on that final restart.
And Joe Logano, in his sophomore season, second. That's impressive for Joe Logano in the 20.
So that's his second of three of his three in a row, which would make his fourth total win. And then you look further on, the next win he has is the 2010 Tums Fast Release 500, which was a chase race, and Denny, and he nearly won the title that year. I do remember this race, actually. Denny only led 40 laps, and he won over Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson. Just another competitive top five right there. So, yeah. Jeff Burton was actually the car to beat that day. He led 134 laps and had to finish ninth that race. And
okay.
So yeah, there you have it. In fact, I do remember that race because Marcus Ambrose led 40 laps and started second that race. He comes from a road course background, but was able to manage the double hairpins very well. So yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Justin, but we're almost done with Hamlin's wins. The last time Hamlin found victory lane was 2015.
I forgot about that.
He held off Brad Keselowski. Hamlin led 91 laps that day. Meanwhile, teammate Joey Logano was class of the field. He led 108 laps, but none could compare to Kevin Harvick, who finished 8th. He led 154 laps.
Yeah, that is quite a long time to lead a race.
I mean, it sounds a lot, but it's not crazy because you have 500 laps at Martinsville, 500 very quick laps.
I was gonna say, about Denny Hamlin's fall race 2010 win. I figured out one reason why I remember about that. Kyle Busch was mad at Jimmy Johnson for multiple laps, and he was cussing out at Jimmy Johnson.
Denny Hamlin did not run that race. I mean, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, 2010. Martinsville was before Texas.
Oh, 2010. Yes, I do remember that.
The 2010 race, that race I just remembered because
he ruffled some feathers that day,
Kyle Busch just kept yelling at Jimmy Johnson, swearing at him.
But I want to go back to the 2015 race there for a moment. That was Danica Patrick's better run. She finished 7th in that race after starting 16th on the grid.
She finished 7th. Oh,
yeah, very, very good run for Danica Patrick. Was pretty decent at Martinsville. I do remember that. So yeah, we're still on Denny Hamlin for now. Now let's talk about the last two races. Actually, let's talk about the last two fall races. 2018, he finished second. You know what happened. And then 2017, it was that race. The world literally had a mobbing against Denny Hamlin that day. In fact, a fan tried to fight him. But if you remember what happened in the 2017 first day to 500, we were heading to 3 laps to go on the restart. Chase Elliott fended off Brad Keselowski. Keselowski moved way up high and pretty much lost his chance to win. And then Denny Hamlin starts coming to the inside just ever so slightly. And then while Hamlin's there, Elliott comes down and Hamlin forces the issue and basically takes out Chase Elliott. who is like the new most popular driver.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I remember that. I remember reading the headlines the next day. I was like,
Wow.
oh boy.
Well, about that, you're saying about most popular driver. Right now, he's not. Chase Hill's not leading most popular driver.
Really?
Ryan Blaney is. Blaney's leading the most popular driver so far over Alex Bowman, which is interesting. You know about that race, about 2015 when Hamlin's last win? David Reagan actually got a top 5 in that race for Joe Gibbs. But I was so mad because Casey Mears had to get dumped by David Reagan and Paul Menard. Ooh, I was mad. Because Dale Jr. finally his shifter started working again until he broke his radiator because of Paul Menard. Oh.
Okay. So, yeah, that's Denny Hamlin at Martinsville. Let's move on to Joey Logano. And we're probably going to have a much quicker discussion about Logano. And by the way, for Denny Hamlin, he did win twice at Martinsville in the Truck Series, 2011 and 2012. But that's for another discussion. Let's get into another driver, Joey Logano. And by the way, Joey Logano's only Truck Series win was the 2015 Martinsville race.
Yep.
Driving for Brad Keselowski.
Yep, in the 29 truck. And his only Cup win came here last year. After contact with Martin Truex Jr., which Martin Truex Jr. was not happy. I would have said, Martin, that's racing.
It was racing, but many people do believe that Joey Logano's move was over aggressive and dirty. I'm the one who says, sure, it's dirty, but that's short track racing. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what Denny Hamlin did to Chase Elliott.
Well,
That's what Kyle Busch did to Denny Hamlin.
Well, this is better. That's a better move than it's a better move than Joe Graf Jr. at Berlin, because that was more bad.
Oh, just being a wrecking ball. Yeah, that's another issue. So yeah, Joey Logano has made 21 starts in his Cup Series career at Martinsville. Beginning in 2009 as a rookie for Joe Gibbs Racing, finished 32nd after starting 34th. And then, of course, second place in 2010, which we mentioned back when we covered Denny Hamlin. And then moving along, sixth place later that fall. And then he did not finish in the top 10 all the way until – so basically, Logano did not see another top 10 finish at Martinsville from 2010 in the fall all the way up until 2014 in the spring when he got a fourth place finish. So Martinsville used to be Logano's burden until 2014. Then he got a fifth later that year, a third in 2015 after winning. He won 3 poles in a row. I mentioned 3 consecutive poles. In 2015, of course, we knew what happened in the 2015. Now, let's talk about that race for a moment. The Logano-Kenseth incident. Joey Logano led 207 laps before the Kenseth incident, and which opened the door for Jeff Gordon to win his final Cup Series race.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2016, won the pole, but only finished 11th. A ninth later that year. 2017, he finished 4th, and then 24th place finish at the fall race in Martinsville. Joey Logano made contact with Kyle Busch within like the last 10 laps, and then the tire went down. He led 59 laps that day. Well, last year, Joey Logano led 309 laps to win. And he won the pole this year, but only managed to lead 5 laps and finish in abysmal 19th place. So that's Logano. Now let's move on to Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
That's if I can spell his name right. So Kevin Harvick, obviously from Bakersfield, California. He'll be 44. I can't believe Kevin Harvick's going to turn 44 this year, man. I remember when he was in his late 20s. It was like yesterday. All my drivers getting old.
Well, not all. Some drivers are still not old. Some of them are still in their 20s. Except Logano, he's turning 30 next year.
I can't believe he's still 29. That's unbelievable. Okay, so Kevin Harvick's first start at Martinsville was 2001, round 8, and finished 34th. So in total, that's 36 starts at Martinsville. Kevin Harvick, here's a fun fact. The 2002 Truck Series race, we saw an incident between Kevin Harvick and Coy Gibbs, who is related to the Gibbs family and drove for their Truck Series team. Kevin Harvick basically made it to everyone that he was going to take out Coy Gibbs, hunted him down, and spun him. NASCAR suspended Kevin Harvick for the Cup race the following day. That car was driven by Kenny Wallace.
Yep.
So yeah, Kevin Harvick's first top 10 at Martinsville did not come until 2003 in round 32 of the Winston Cup Series Tour. And Harvick's first win, 2011, where he led the last 6 laps of the race after passing Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the last 10 laps. Many people thought Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s winless drought was coming to an end until you saw Harvick just making the runs, and then bam, he got right past Junior, never looked back.
Wow.
I do remember that race. I was in 6th grade.
Well, at least then Dale Jr. could rebound at Martinsville a couple of years later in 2014. With a body slam into Tony Stewart.
Believe it or not, that is Kevin Harvick's only win at Martinsville. Yep. While if you look at his Truck Series stats, Kevin Harvick has 3 wins. Paperclip. Most recent, 2012. So there you have it with Kevin Harvick. Now let's move on to Chase Elliott. We talked about Hamlin.
Whew.
And with that said, we talked about Chase.
My God.
Chase Elliott does have a Truck Series win. In fact, his very first Truck Series start took place at this little racetrack back in 2013. So Chase Elliott has a total of 8 starts. In fact, I believe his first ever Cup Series race was at Martinsville in 2015. He drove the 25 car.
Yep. And he had power steering issues and different other issues. Yeah, he had different issues throughout that race, including getting rear-ended by Michael Annett at one point, which that's embarrassing.
That resulted in a 38th place finish.
Yep.
He only completed 427 of the 500 laps. But it got better because you look at 2017, he finished 3rd after starting 2nd.
What?
He led 20 laps that race in the first race.
I was going to say.
We'll get to the second race very quickly because I will just get right in here. He led 123 laps and finished 27th.
What about 2016?
20th and 12th.
Okay, 12th was good, but 20th? Well, it was his second start.
True. We'll cut him some slack.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chase led 123 laps before getting wrecked by Hamlin and finished 27th. He started 3rd that day. And then he finished 9th the following race in 2018 in the spring, 7th, and his best at Martinsville, 2nd this year to Brad Keselowski. All right, so there's that. Let's move on to Kyle Larson. So our 7th seeded driver, Kyle Larson at Martinsville. Now, may I ask, has he won a Truck Series race at the Paperclip?
I don't think he has.
Something's telling me he did.
He ran, I think, one. How many truck races did he run at Martinsville? I know he ran 2016, but I don't think he won 2016.
I'm looking it up right now. Because I know his. Oh, yes, he finished 4th in the McDonald's car.
Yeah, driving GMS racing.
You just don't do well in NASCAR. If your sponsor's McDonald's, chances are.
Hey, Jay McMurray ran a McDonald's car and won races.
Okay, not sponsored by McDonald's. When he's sponsored by Bass Pro Shops, he won, but not by McDonald's.
No.
The McDonald's car, according to, I think it's NRF 15, is 0 for 477 starts.
Hey, maybe if I had a McDonald's car, I would win.
It's like the odds of an ice cream machine working at McDonald's.
Or
You
Armani.
just don't have them.
Hey, you know Armani? He says he could win with any sponsor. I just was, Larson.
I want to race him at K1 Speed someday when we go to Fort Lauderdale.
Kyle Larson, his 2 truck ones came at Rockingham and Eldora. That's where his truck ones came at, which he only has 2. He only ran Marsville once, was 2016. Driving the McDonald's Chevy for GMS Racing. Most of his truck starts are actually Turner Motorsports. Only 3 races for GMS. 1 race he drove for Junior Motorsports Chicago 2015, which Kyle Larson finished second. No, he finished 7th, but at one point he was 2nd place, but he finished 7th after starting on the pole.
All right, and so Kyle Larson, of course, it's not one of his better tracks. You think it could be, but he only has 1 top 5 and 1 top 10.
Yeah.
11 starts. His average finish is an abysmal 23rd.
Ooh.
It's time for work.
Well, Kyle Larson's 2nd career start in Cup was actually the 2nd Marsville race 2013, which that was not Phoenix Racing.
H. Scott, they acquired.
H. Scott.
Harry Scott.
Yeah, he won. Kyle Larson did not win at Marsville 2013. H. Scott never won a Cup race. That will never happen.
Okay, we're now on to Ryan Blaney.
Ooh. He is decent because he's led good number of laps there, but I don't know. It's his finishes. I don't think that his finishes are too good.
I don't know if you guys watching the Patriots game. That was an amazing touchdown.
For who?
Just had an interception. Okay, while I'm looking at that, here's Ryan Blaney's stats. Okay, so Ryan Blaney only has 7 starts. I thought he had more than that.
No, his first start came in, I don't even remember.
2016.
Yeah, he ran
19th for the 21 Wood Brothers car.
Oh, goodness.
And then he finished, so his first top 10 was 2017, round 33. Of course, remember, Blaney and Hamilton contact.
Oh, yeah, and then, Kenseth was saying that he needs to get punched in the head.
He finished 8th. Ryan Blaney finished 3rd in his first race for Penske in number 12 car.
Yeah.
Then a 20th place at 2018 rate. The other race in 2018. Actually, let me mark the 2018 first race in Martinsville. He led 145 laps. And then he got 4th.
Oh, yeah, the race that with the snow that got postponed.
Yeah, that moved the race to Monday.
And Mike Joyce said battle for the lead, and they were focusing on the train behind the racetrack.
Yes.
Yeah, difficult.
So there is a train track right behind the backstretch.
Yeah, and the cameraman was focusing on that, and so the battle for the lead at the end of the stage too. Smart camera.
Excuse me.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice when when they pan to something else for a minute, it is kind of refreshing, but that's kind of a bad time to do that.
Yeah. Like there's a battle for the lead. They focus on the train on the back straightaway. That's a bad timing.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have everything covered tonight.
Except
What-
for
Oh, yeah.
you're missing MotoGP.
Oh yeah, MotoGP. Tell us about it.
And we have to have our picks.
So I've actually done my own stats for the after the Grand Prix of Japan, the MotoGP Grand Prix of Japan. So for the MotoGP has classes. For those of you that do not know, so for the MotoGP class, or the 1000cc class as it is right now, Marc Marquez was the winner on the 93 Repsol Honda. Fabio Quartararo came second on the 20 Petronas Yamaha, and Andrea Dovizioso came third on the 4 Ducati. The current rider standings are Marc Marquez with 350 points in the lead right now. Andrea Dovizioso, 231 points. And then third is tied between Alex Rins, 176 points, and Maverick Vinales. And I'll cover Moto 2 as well. Moto 2, Luca Marini, winner. Number 10, Sky Racing Team VR46. You can imagine what VR46 stands for those of you that are MotoGP fans.
Tell us.
For those who might not know, the VR is Valentino Rossi, the superstar, also known as the Doctor, with I believe 8 championships. I think it is. Somebody correct me if I am wrong. But that is what the VR46 stands for. Luca Marini is the winner of the Moto 2 race. Thomas Luthi, second on the 12 Dynavolt Intact Grand Prix team bike. Jorge Martin, third on the 88 Red Bull KTM Ajo bike. And the Moto 2 rider standings. First is Alex Marquez. I'm guessing he's probably the little brother of Marc Marquez, or a cousin. Alex Marquez, 234 points. Thomas Luthi, 198 points. And Augusto Fernandez, 192 points in third.
It's very interesting.
So the next race is the Australian Grand Prix, the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix this weekend. And let's look at some race stats for that. Valentino Rossi has 8 wins between all the classes. The MotoGP class, he has 5 victories: 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, and 2014. The 500cc class, he has 1 victory in 2001. The 250cc class, he has 2 victories in 1998 and 1999. Casey Stoner only has victories in the MotoGP class, and he has 6. Mike Doohan, 500cc class, he has 4 victories, and the 500cc class he has 3, and the Superbike class, which I guess back then was part of MotoGP in 1988, and I cannot find any other statistics.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so that's for MotoGP, and they're racing this weekend?
Yes, the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix at Phillip Island Grand Prix Circuit.
Okay.
And the first time it was... Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe this would be some good statistics for you. Prior to 1997, the event was held at a number of different venues, most notably Eastern Creek, Bathurst. And since 1997, it has always been at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Very fast track, very good for motorcycle racing.
That's very interesting. 17-0. Patriots killing it tonight.
Yep. So that is, I guess, it for MotoGP.
Right. It's time for race predictions, guys. We need
Yeah.
to get into the race predictions.
Yeah, because Armani remembered about it because I saw in the YouTube comments.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah,
race predictions.
Yep. All the racing. Oh gosh.
I'm looking at probably Marc Marquez to win.
I'm going with Marc Marquez.
Me too. Marc Marquez. That's easy. Oh, all the races this weekend.
But then again, Marc Marquez hasn't won since 2017. But 2018, Maverick Vinales has won on a Yamaha. According to Wikipedia.
Why is it equal? He went for me and you were the other guy.
Ooh. So picks for the weekend. I'm trying to think of all the races.
Let's start with the basics and NASCAR and the Cup Series at Martinsville. So we just went in depth for each and every single driver. I think just by looking at the numbers, and I have a bold prediction too, because we do need to predict the Final Four of the playoffs, because the Championship 4 race will be determined in these next 3 races. Don't forget about that. But at Martinsville, I think this is tough. He hasn't won since Pocono. He's come close.
I know who it is already.
His crew chief has what it takes to put a car together. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's Halloween, and Halloween means candy. Kyle Busch will win his 3rd Martinsville race.
Hey, not so fast, Joseph. My pick. He's won 5 times at Martinsville, but his last one was 2015. But he's been still good at Martinsville. I think Denny Hamlin will get win number 6 at Martinsville, and he'll beat Kyle Busch in a photo finish.
Wow. That's a very interesting one there. How about you, Blake?
I want to say Harvick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Harvick.
Right there. Very underdog.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a comment in the section that's Danny Guerra 48. How's it going, bud? He's at Hamlin, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Truex Jr.
That's his, I guess, championship 4.
Championship 4.
Yeah, that's his championship 4.
Believe it or not, there's always one big name not making the championship 4. Armani, who's out eating dinner, predicted Kevin Harvick won't be in the round of 8.
I want him to buy his Brandon Jones merch soon, so then he could wear it on the next podcast.
What if Brandon Jones makes the Final 4 next year? You can't say that pick is unrealistic.
You never know. Yeah, like he's gonna most likely be the lead driver at Gibbs.
We'll talk about that's after
that's
another discussion. But by the way, if Hamlin wins Martinsville, he'll tie Dale Earnhardt, Cale Yarbrough, Fred Lorenzen, and join the 6 winners club.
Yep.
All right. So there you have that.
The truck series.
Talk trucks. Who we got?
Ooh. Oh wait, I have to do my research. I never do my research.
Let me
Which is
just
not
give you my little rundown. Johnny Sauter has the most wins at 4. Johnny Sauter, in the eyes of many people, won the race at Talladega. And in the many eyes of people, I'm one of them. So in my eyes, Johnny Sauter will go back to back and win at Martinsville. But seriously, he'll redeem after Talladega because he has the most wins at Martinsville at 4.
Huh.
You need veteran experience around that paperclip. Let's be real.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Okay. I got mine. My pick. He currently drives for Nice Motorsports in the 45 truck. He has a really good average finish at Martinsville, which is like his average finish is his average finish is 5.5
I know where
in
this
2
is going.
races. So I think that Ross Chastain will punch his ticket to the round of 4 by winning at Martinsville. Yep, my pick is Ross Chastain. Hey, don't start saying that I'm bag wet. Don't start saying I'm picking him just to gain points. Maybe that's one reason I'm picking him, but I want Ross Chastain to make it to the championship 4 in that
I
40.
do too. That would make a great story.
And I think he would do really solid at Martinsville because will be his second start of the season at Martinsville this season.
Okay.
Because
Hey guys watching, let's hear your picks on this race weekend. I know I think there's 7 people watching right now.
yeah, give your
Whoever
pick.
you are, come
Yes.
clean.
Yeah, give your
Make your
picks.
picks.
Yeah.
Humiliate yourself.
Yeah, we need your picks.
Okay, back on track.
Yeah.
Blake, let's hear your predictions.
So, well, I usually look at the point standings as a kind of a guide. I think Stuart Friesen might win.
Okay, that's interesting.
Stuart Friesen was my pick at Talladega. I thought there's some underdog nature with Stuart Friesen, but he is a very blue-collar driver that big entity. If it's not through one way, he'll do it through another.
Hey, by the way, Daniel Ford commented for his championship 4 for the trucks. Chastain, Friesen, Moffitt, and Crafton.
Sounds reasonable.
It's better than saying Tyler Ankrum because I don't think he would be in the championship 4.
Personally, I don't think he even deserves to be in the championship 4 if he makes it because, just the wacky playoff system.
Well, it's not bad compared to 2015.
True.
That was the worst one. Missing 11 races.
Or you can pull Tyler Reddick and just be snoozing through the playoffs and just
this year
awesome in the Final 4.
Well, this year people say Cole Custer was going to have a bad season. 7 wins.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's
we have
have our
F1.
championship. Before we go to Formula 1, let's talk about our championship 4 picks in NASCAR for both Cup and trucks. We're talking trucks. Let's just do that right now.
Okay. My championship 4 picks for the trucks. For some reason, I have Ross Chastain, Brett Moffitt. Okay, so Chastain, Moffitt, Austin Hill. My last guy, for me, it's going to be Chastain, Moffitt, Friesen, and Austin Hill will be my championship 4.
What's really close because right now, positions 2. All right, so Friesen's plus 21, Austin Hill plus 11, Crafton +0 above the cut line, and -1 at Ankrum, -2 is Chastain below the cut line. It's so close. So close. I really think Chastain will make it to the cut line. He'll make it above. Matt Crafton, unfortunately, will be the man out, which I don't know why. I just can't see him making the Final Four.
Yeah. Like,
Chastain's going to have a good race at Martinsville, but I feel like someone's going to slip up at Phoenix, not Texas. I got to get this Texas race out of my mind. There's no.
I thought you were gonna say Talladega. I'm like, what? That
No.
That would be weird. 2 races in the round. Talladega, Martha, then Talladega again. That would be not a smart idea by NASCAR.
Right. But don't worry. Daytona 2020 says hold my beer.
Well, at least the
That's
trucks.
the regular season cutoff race for the Cup Series.
Well, at least the truck race is still. There's only still one truck race in February.
Sure that. Okay, let's get back on track here. My prediction is we'll have Brett Moffitt, who's just the king of the truck series this year. Stuart Friesen, Austin Hill, Ross Chastain.
Yeah. Like I've noticed, like Austin Hill, people say, "Oh, he doesn't deserve the ride." He has
More
3
than
wins.
deserving.
He has 3 wins this season, including. Remember, he pitted late at Vegas and catch Ross Chastain. He was 17th and made it through the field to get up there to first.
Exactly.
Like that's impressive. That's one
Austin Hill worked twice as hard just to get that ride.
Yeah, he used to drive Young Motorsports, the O2 truck. He was not in the best equipment.
Which they won the last time we raced in the truck series.
With Spencer Boyd.
Out of the wackiest and most controversial circumstances, controversies in the title name of this episode for that specific reason. We'll get into that later on. But let's keep on trucking, as Vince Welch would say.
Yeah.
We're still in the truck series. Blake, who is your Final Four predictions?
Final Four predictions. I'm gonna say Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Austin Hill, and Ross Chastain.
Okay.
Just like mine. Okay, so that's it for the truck series. Now let's move backwards for the Cup Series Final Four for a moment, so we can predict their Final Four before the round of 8 begins. So the drivers in the round of 8, I think we already know who they are at this point. The first race will begin this weekend at Martinsville Speedway, but there's only 4 spots to claim for the Championship 4. And the Championship 4, it's going to be close. I have my predictions made. There's always one big name driver not making it this year, and that unfortunately goes to Chesterfield, Virginia's own Denny Hamlin. I don't know why. Something tells me that Hamlin and he's 37 bonus points. He has 37 bonus points, which is really good. He'll do great at Martinsville. Probably win a stage, win stage 2, lead I'd say an estimate total of 150 to 200 laps. Justin, I know you're like face palming with the hat, but let me finish here. He's going to flubber at Texas. If you remember last year at Phoenix,
he won at Texas last time.
I know.
Well, he could win again.
For some reason, Denny Hamlin's won everything in his career but a title. Though it's very likely he will win that elusive championship this year. For some reason, and Armani, I know where you are. If you're sitting at that dinner table watching this podcast right now, you hear me clear. I hope you damn sure do. Kevin Harvick did not make it through the round of 12, but it's more likely Denny Hamlin will make it through the round of 8. And it's going to suck. But
Danny says, Joseph, you're bugging out.
I know I am.
Well, for some reason, my Cool. Mine predictions. I have Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr.
So yeah, I forgot to list my picks. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney.
I said this before the playoffs even
What?
started. I said
Are
this
you
before the playoffs even started at Las Vegas. That
Well,
there's always one driver who will surprise the Final Four. 2017, that driver was Kevin Harvick. 2018, that driver
Wait.
was Joey Logano, and he won the
Wait.
damn cup.
wait, you said 2017 was Kevin Harvick the surprise? He won at Texas.
I know he won in Texas, but
I thought Brad Keselowski.
people looked away from Harvick more than they did from Keselowski.
Well, Keselowski only made it because Denny Hamlin crushed him.
Was more or less Johnson. He didn't really blossom so much in the Cup Series.
But the
Chase-
playoffs, when he got into the playoffs, that's when he started.
Right, but
and
he still was the guy people didn't look very closely at. They were more or less like eyeballing Truex and Keselowski.
Well, then he blew up at Talladega, and that Brian Scott got second, which was just crazy. Well, I remember about, but for me, I feel like, for some reason, I don't feel like, for me, I feel like Danny Hamlin's going to make it into the next round because he's good at Martinsville, good at Texas, and Phoenix is not bad. That's why I keep Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, but here's my take, and I said this before the playoff started. Why Ryan Blaney? First and foremost, Martin Truex Jr. is going to ease through it. I see Truex winning at Texas. There's a pick I have right from there. Truex is going to win at Texas.
Are you sure?
I don't think he's ever won in Texas.
I don't think either, but it depends where you finished last
I
time.
see him blossoming because if you remember 2017, he dominated the race and lost to Kevin Harvick in the last 10 laps.
Yeah, because his car became crap and Harvick was just dominating at the end.
Very. But I just think number 78, 19. I wish it was number 78. Number 19 will be number 1 at Texas.
Well,
That's how he gets into the Final Four.
But the last time we went to Texas, he finished 12th after starting 20th. It just, if he starts I shouldn't say about starting in the back doesn't get you good spots. Bowyer started 25th and got second. Hey, at least he did better than Kyle Larson. That Kyle Larson finished last out of the race. The last time. Yeah.
Larson was in a major slump at that point of the season before turning things around. And around the mid-season, just had to, as Todd Harris from IndyCar on ABC in 2005 would say, turn the trick. He really did turn the trick this year.
Yeah.
I'm big with quoting. Okay, Blake, let's hear your Final Four prediction.
For a cup,
Correct.
I'm gonna go with Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick.
Okay.
I think they are very realistic, ideal picks.
Yeah. Don't
I
be fun.
wouldn't be shocked if any one of them makes it to the Final Four, especially Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick. Though my radical mind has Hamlin out of the Final Four.
Don't be funny. If you know that Armani was saying Harvick was not making the round, so what happens if Harvick would win the championship? And then Armani should just wear Brandon Jones merch all the time.
Whatever. Okay, so there's that. Same as me. says Danny Aguirre 48. Let's move on to Formula One and talk about our predictions for the Mexican Grand Prix at Mexico City. Famous Hermanos Rodriguez.
Yep.
Who wins there?
For me, my pick is Lewis Hamilton because I feel like he's just going to be doing good again because he does have a fast Mercedes powered. He almost passed Vettel, but Vettel was kind of blocking him, which I didn't agree with. But I think that Lewis is going to continue his momentum with finishing good and carry it over and win the Mexican Grand Prix.
Danny Aguirre 48 says Hamilton wins at Mexico.
Okay.
I am going to say Max Verstappen wins 3 in a row and becomes the first driver to break the 2-win mark ever at the Mexican Grand Prix.
No, I thought Jim Clark had 3 wins.
Jim Clark.
I did not count. Technically, he has 3, but I omitted the non-championship race he won.
Well, it's still in his record book, so
True.
it's still a win.
But as for like the Formula One World Championship,
It never counted towards the championship when he won that one. The first year it was instated. So
Oh my god! Gosh.
right. So technically,
Well,
Verstappen can win. In fact, he'll win 3 in a row.
what? It depends how he does. The only thing he doesn't want to get rear-ended by Sebastian Vettel like at Silverstone.
And he can't be over aggressive like he was at in Suzuka either. So that's going to be
But hey, Suzuka,
gotta
he did.
test, though.
Well, Suzuka, he got crashed by Charles Leclerc, so
That is true. Charles did hit him. Blake
yeah.
and Justin, here are your picks.
I said Hamilton.
Verstappen.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah.
And can Lewis Hamilton? Here's another good question. Can Lewis Hamilton finally clinch the season championship?
That's
We'll
it.
have to wait another week.
I don't know. I think he can because one thing, Lewis Hamilton has run good at Mexico. I know he's going to be fast. I know he could win the race. I know he could get a fast lap. But I'm not 100% sure because it depends where Bottas finishes. If Bottas is second, he doesn't clinch it. It depends where Bottas finishes. If like Bottas is out of the race, well, and Hamilton wins and gets a fast lap, well, yeah, but I don't think that Bottas is gonna crash. I don't think that Mercedes Valtteri, it's James crashed on purpose to give Lewis the championship because that would not be Mercedes. That would be just plain stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
They're competing for constructors championship as well. And
Which they already clinched.
Yeah, they
after
clinched.
Japan.
Yeah, they clinched that.
right, but still.
They were way far ahead of the. They were really far ahead of the Red Bull and Ferrari. The battle is on for second though. Ferrari and Red Bull are just duking it out for second, while Mercedes just way far ahead.
Right. So there you have it for the Mexican Grand Prix this Sunday. And now our supercar predictions. We'll talk about predictions for the supercars race in the Gold Coast 600. Race 1, race 2. Who will win race 1 at the Gold Coast 600?
Okay, I got my predictions. Race 1 will be McLaughlin. So 17, McLaughlin. But race 2, my race 2 predictions is that Van Gisbergen is going to win race 2.
I remember that this is an enduro race. This is the second of 3 enduro races.
Yeah, so it's going to be McLaughlin race 1, Van Gisbergen race 2.
So they'll have their co-drivers in this race.
So is it the same co-drivers as last race?
I'm presuming yes.
I don't
Most
know.
likely they will. We'll have to see, but we do know who the main drivers are.
Yeah,
we can
so
assess them
McLaughlin
now.
and yeah.
Okay, I'm looking here. Van Gisbergen, yes, this is Surfers Paradise is one of Van Gisbergen's best tracks, but I have a really bold prediction.
Oh no,
Mark
Joseph.
Winterbottom will
What?
win race 1.
What?
Yeah, Mark
Win-
Winterbottom will win race
Oh
1,
my goodness.
and Jamie Whincup will win race 2.
Oh god, you're gonna piss off Danny.
I know. Sorry, not sorry.
Back a few years ago, that would have been the pick.
Well, Winterbottom did, and he does have 2 wins, but nowhere near the
He drove. He
talent
drove.
he has now.
he dro-
Or the talent he had back then today.
He,
Can't compare it.
he drove for Ford. Now he's not for Ford.
He's in Holden.
Yeah. I know.
So, yeah. What are your picks?
Well, for me, it's McLaughlin and Van Gisbergen. So McLaughlin race 1, Van Gisbergen race 2.
My pick. Are you ready?
Yep.
Oh,
It's gonna be Scott McLaughlin. It's gonna be Scott McLaughlin show, both race 1 and race 2.
Wow.
it's better than Well, at least Armani's not here. He would say Paso Maldonado, even if he doesn't race in supercars.
No room for Maldonado. Okay. And so there you have it. Listen, I'm big with the bold picks. I think Winterbottom could surprise everybody. We're gonna be laughing at my prediction next week, most likely.
Wait.
Anything goes.
Hey, Joseph. Danny said Whincup will win race 2. But he says, I don't mind Mark Winterbottom, but Whincup won't win race 2. Oh, my.
Well, he's probably right.
Well, you never know.
Doesn't like him.
Well, what happens if they just do...
I could have picked David Reynolds and made things a little better.
What happens if somehow Whincup just passes for not Max McLaughlin, that's a K&N driver. Scott McLaughlin, last lap, last corner. Oh, that would
Kind of
be
like
funny.
that Adelaide 2016.
Oh, that would be funny.
And yeah, speaking of which, that was driving for the Volvo of Gary Rogers Motorsports. We'll talk about GRM in just a moment, but they are on the headlines. Let's just get our final rounds of predictions.
My question: when does Scott McLaughlin clinch the championship?
Great question.
Well, he has so many points. I'm shocked he hasn't clinched it yet. Wow. 2 hours, 23-minute podcast so far.
Yeah, let's get into the ELS, our predictions for the European Le Mans Series, for our sports car predictions. And then we'll be done with that, and we can wrap up by talking about the headlines. It's been a long podcast.
Yes.
All right, here is the 4 Hours of Portimao. Last year, of course, was won by United Autosports. I think they have what it takes to win again, especially because they have drivers such as, and call me crazy, I think Ryan Coolin, William Owen, and Alex Brundle. They're tame, but they'll get the job done. That's my pick for the LMP2 class. For LMP3 class, my pick will be Euro International number 11 with Mikael Jensen and Jens Pedersen.
Okay.
Jens Peterson. And for GTE class, the shortest class of them all, I'm going to go with... Did they, of course, win Petit Le Mans? No, they didn't. I'm going to go... Oof, this is tough. This is really tough. I think my pick will be... Okay, number 51, Luzik Racing, Ferrari, driven by Fabian Lavert, Nicholas Nielsen, and Alessandro Pierguidi, number
Okay.
51 Ferrari.
For
Let's
me,
hear your picks.
my pick for LMP2 is the number 21 Dragon Speed, which is driven by Henrik Hedman and Ben Hanley and James Allen. So the number 21 Dragon Speed for LMP2. LMP3, my pick is the number. Oh. My pick is the number 2. United Autosports number 2 for LMP3, driven by Wayne Boyd, Garrett Grist, and Tommy Erdos. My pick for LMGTE is the number 55 Spirit of Race Ferrari, driven by Duncan Cameron, Matthew Griffin, and Aaron Scott.
So my pick for LMP2 is, let's see, it's my pick for LMP2 is going to be the number 22 United Autosports Orica, driven by Philip Hansen and Felipe Albuquerque. And for LMP3, I'm also going to go with United Autosports, the number 3 car, driven by Andrew Bentley and Christian England. And for LMGTE, I'm going with the 77 Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche, driven by Christian Reed, Ricardo Pera, and Matteo Caroli.
Okay.
Okay, let's now get into. Finally, we'll talk about the recent events. Justin, you still had something to say?
I was just checking randomly something that's quite interesting.
All right, so let's mention. So here we have a lot of things to talk about on the headlines before we get off air. Let's talk first and foremost about what happened earlier this week. Back to the NASCAR realm, just for a brief moment. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will drive for JTG Daugherty Racing in 2020, replacing Chris Buescher, who ironically is going to drive the number 17 car for Roush. Justin trying to pull a Bill Nye there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
One other thing.
The Bill Nye the Science Guy intro.
One
Okay,
other,
back on topic.
yeah.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to JTG Daugherty Racing in 2020.
Yep.
Formula. Okay, and let's just stay over there for a moment. JTG Daugherty Racing, their hauler caught on fire
Yeah.
while their hauler traveled to Kansas City. And speaking of hauler problems, Colleague Racing had a hauler accident on the way to Kansas City, but luckily everybody inside that transporter vehicle was okay. No severe injuries reported. Also, Ross Chastain will drive full-time for Colleague Racing next year in the 2020 Xfinity Series Championship. All right, moving on. Let's just stay in the realm of Xfinity Series for a moment, because Harrison Burton will drive full-time next year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2020. All right, now Formula One.
Oh,
Formula One and Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, have proposed a Grand Prix in 2021.
What's gonna happen with the Circuit of the Americas now?
That's a great question. Could they have their own Grand Prix? Because we've seen that before. Back in the 70s, we had the U.S. Grand Prix East, like the traditional U.S. Grand Prix, and then the U.S. Grand Prix West, which was Long Beach.
I think it was Long Beach at that time.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mario Andretti won one of those races.
But all the F1 fans are going to be, oh, that's too many races. They don't like too many races. They say 21 is too much.
I think the ideal F1 calendar should have 18 races, 18 to 20 races, nothing more or less.
But why does IndyCar have 17? That's another
17
question.
races is ideal. It's just the problem is the season ends too early.
Yeah, they like. Well, do you know what I've heard rumors of? You know the number 63. You know that Robert Kubica is not coming back to Williams. Do you know what there's a rumor of? Guess who people think that's gonna replace him? Guess who people think is gonna replace Robert Kubica? It's not a driver, it's not Latifi. Of all people think that Jamie Chadwick is gonna replace Robert Kubica at Williams.
You know, Jamie Chadwick is a developmental driver for the Williams team, but I would like to see some more years and experience. Run an F2 season.
Yeah, like you need to run some Formula 2. Like you see Nicholas Latifi, he's a test driver for Williams.
I think Latifi is going to take that spot next year, personally.
Like
my real concern is George Russell, because Russell,
he has talent.
Such an up-and-coming driver, and it's sad to see him held back in such a low equipment.
Yeah, like he has talent. It's just he's stuck with the low-tier Williams.
In my opinion, I said this before, but unfortunately, Gunther Steiner and the gang at Haas signed both their drivers back. That Russell could help Haas improve as a team if they signed him for 2020. But I'm not the one in the Haas office making the decisions here, and I'm not George Russell either. I'm just Joe. Okay, let's we got to get further down here because we are running out of time. So let's get back to the Formula One concept of the Miami Grand Prix in 2021. It's going to take place outside Hard Rock Stadium, which is the current home stadium of the Miami Dolphins.
They suck.
Let's not get into that.
Listen, it's just another Tilk track. I hate to be the party pooper, but it is still another Tilka track, and we know what's coming. Just look at the Russian Grand Prix layout. It's literally surrounding a stadium, a few stadiums, the Olympic Park. That's all it is.
Yeah.
My fear is it's just going to be another flat layout like that. But, hey, if you want to make the track more interesting, incorporate a little bit of the highways with it.
Oh, my. That's going to be too...
Unpopular opinion.
Oh, God. That would not end well. Oh, that would be a bad accident.
Give all the F1 cars a sun pass.
Oh my gosh,
but that might actually be a better idea than what I would have proposed if I was going to organize the Miami Grand Prix.
How about there's a hey, for F1 there should be a city circuit race. I don't even know. How about there's a city circuit race in where could they put a city circuit race?
They used to have a city circuit race with the American Le Mans series way back in the early 2000s. Yeah, Miami. They raced there. And I think that they could use the same layout.
F1, I know where they should race. They should race the streets of China. I don't think that would work out because
Macau.
Oh no! That would not.
We'll be talking Macau in like 2-3 weeks from now.
That would be absolutely horrible, though.
Oh, that would not.
Bad layout, not ideal for F1 racing.
Yeah.
Bad.
The track is like one lane through like 4 of their turns. It's crazy how big the crashes are. I give those motorcycle racers so much credit for going through those streets.
Yeah.
New York City, Danny says. Oh God!
Yes.
Oh, I wonder.
Hey, Big Apple.
They have to shut down the entire streets of New York City, which would not end well. People would riot.
What happens if there's potholes? big ass potholes on it.
Don't
Big
worry, we have the
pothole.
Baku Grand Prix to solve those issues.
Oh god. Well, remember when George Russell hit a drain cover?
And then
It
they
just-
took the car away,
And
and
then
they hit a crane.
the crane
took
hit the bridge. And then oh my I remember I'm like, really?
Like, that was just pathetic. Funny, though.
Yeah. Wow. Almost
With
2
that
hours.
said, that's the concept of the Miami Grand Prix. Remember, the 2019 concept for Miami was on Biscayne Boulevard, which would cross the Intercoastal Bridge through an A1A. Personally, it would not be an ideal situation if there was like a stalled car there at the bridge. You know what I mean? Like, where would the track marshals be?
My question: how much has any F1 car driven on banking? Have they ever driven on bank? Have an F1 car ever driven on like a steep banking?
The old Avis circuit from Germany, like a long time ago.
What happens
That
to
was
some?
That was in the 30s and 40s, though. No,
What
we're
happens
talking
if-
about a modern F1 car. It has a modern F1 car.
What happens if someone says F1 at Daytona or Talladega on
A
a
road
course?
course,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh god! What happens if someone says open the Talladega infield and put F1 cars there? I'm like,
What is this? NASCAR Thunder 2004?
I don't know. God. Well, racing at Daytona, racing Daytona would be kind of hard with the
You want to
banking.
get some plasticity to the drivers' minds here? I mean, on a psychological term, that's a great way to describe
Do you want to be?
the amount of banking.
You know, F1 drivers, they turn left and right. It's not going to be normal them turning left around the banking in 1 and 2 of the. And I know F1 will never race on ovals because their cars don't work like that.
I think the layout of the Talladega road course is actually really interesting and fast.
Yeah.
The only problem with that track is that it would be so much money and so hard to renovate the road course,
Yeah.
which closed down
You
in
know who
19
would renovate it?
Yeah. Wow, almost 2 hours 40 minutes. Wow. It is close on time. Wow.
And while we're also talking about, I mean, another reason on the Talladega road course is they have to get it up to FIA grade.
Yep.
So, and what would the FIA say about the banking? What would they want them to do with the banking?
I'm probably shorting it because Talladega's banking is 33 degrees.
Or run the flat.
Yeah, run on the apron.
But use the trioval banking as part
Yeah.
of the road course circuit.
Like-
now
like-
now we're talking.
Like the trioval is not bad, but it's the actual turns, which 33 degrees of banking. Oh,
Not made for open wheel cars.
well, somebody said there should be people running a marathon on the banking at Talladega. People would fall down off the track. It's too
So-
steep.
But with F1, they would probably just tilt it.
Yeah.
Exactly. They even took Mexico City.
Yeah.
I mean, they only tilt it a little bit, but yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, we're gonna change Watkins Glen now. If F1 returns to Watkins Glen, we're just gonna have like a whole renovation of the circuit.
Oh my.
I would be so pissed if they listen. They did it to Hockenheim, okay?
Tilt's gonna be like, we gotta add another bus stop in the loop.
We need a DRS zone.
Hey, there should be. What happens if somebody says NASCAR should have DRS? That would not be good. DRS at ovals. A lot of overtaking.
I mean, you can't push to pass an IndyCar, but that's another story. 'Cause at least your number is limited. It's like you have a bag of bonus chips,
Yeah.
in a card game, but you can only use that bag when you need it, and you can't run out. If you run out, you can't get any more. It's
Well,
like push to pass.
remember Formula E when they had fan boost? which was kind of weird. Yeah, they were not smart thinking about that.
But it's a fun way to engage the fans, the modern fan, have them engaged to the race, knowing that you could have some possible effect on the driver's performance. That is a cool concept, but I don't want it to blossom. If that makes sense. If I'm making sense here. Okay.
Yeah.
With Formula One. Now let's
Yeah.
talk about
2 hours.
supercars. Let's get
Oh
into
my god.
let's
2
talk
hours,
about
20.
supercars.
Yeah. Yeah.
My computer's doing weird things tonight. Don't know why. All right, so let's talk about. Okay, so Gary Rogers Motorsport (GRM) announced their departure from supercars racing at the end of the season.
Yep, they did.
So I'm looking at it right now. GRM. So Gary Rogers Motorsport debuted in 1996, and they don't have a championship. However, they've won 21 races and 23 pole positions. Their best, their best points finish was 2016 with Scott McLaughlin, third. But if you remember, GRM was most known for bringing in the return to Volvo in Australian racing in 2014 when they linked with Volvo cars and Polestar Racing. Polestar is like Volvo's version of Mopar. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like the performance line. And if you remember the 2014 Adelaide 500, holy crap. McLaughlin and Whincup had one of the most memorable race battles you can ever imagine. And of course, the Phillip Island Super Sprint was swept by McLaughlin, and Scott McLaughlin left after 2016 to join DJR Team Penske, where he has found unreachable success, unbelievable success. And after 2016, Volvo departed from the Supercars series and left Holden to return to Gary Rogers Motorsports. And it's going to suck to see them leave after 2019. So, yeah, there you have it. Now let's get into the controversy. You have the name. Okay, you guys see the name Controversy as the episode name. And I have it up there for this reason. Because team orders. DJR Team Penske.
Fired for the rest of the season.
Fabian Coulthard. You know, I said earlier this year, Fabian Coulthard reminded me a lot about Rubens Barrichello during Schumacher's Ferrari era of unbeatable success. Because he is a bit of like Rubens Barrichello in Ferrari years. Seriously, Fabian Coulthard has been as number 2 as you can be. And this was before Bathurst, okay? We saw this before the Bathurst 1000. But personally, I think the penalty was a little too much. I'll read off according to motorsport.com. Supercar sanctioning body punished DJR Team Penske with a $250,000 fine as a result of the Coulthard incident and a loss of 300 team championship points.
Wait.
And Fabian Coulthard, Tony D'Alberto, their position in the Bathurst 1000 was relegated. So basically, they lost their Bathurst 1000 finishing position as a result of the incident. But the win with McLaughlin pretty much stays. Let's hear your thoughts.
My question. Why My question is, why did the 12 get penalized but not the 17? What happens if, like, DGR Team Penske told him to do this to secure Scott McLaughlin and all that crap? Why didn't Scott McLaughlin's team get penalized some points?
I honestly think they really overdid the penalties.
They should have penalized like 25 points from from McLaughlin's driver
What
point.
would they? There's no really loss if you penalize McLaughlin because he's so far ahead in the championship.
Well, just penalize 25 points. That would be fair for me. Take away some of his points, but not all. Just take away like 50 points. He'll still have so much points.
Highly debatable, dude. I tell you, there's a lot more serious issues going on in racing than this. But I think Supercars Championship really made it clear. Don't pull it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see it in Surfers Paradise. We don't want to see it in Sandown. We don't want to see it anywhere. This is a lesson that everybody in the paddock can learn from Bathurst. Blake, let's hear your thoughts.
I agree with you, Joe. I think it's a little much, but it's hard to think of anything else that they could have done as well. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is, but, you know, team orders are never pretty in any form of racing. We've seen it so much in Formula One, and, you know, it's just, it's not pretty. It's not cool. And I don't really have much else. Actually, I don't have anything else to say about it.
I think they just demonstrated what happens if you pull this stuff in this series. You know, the Supercar series, they don't want to see it. They're firm about it. They just stomped their foot on the ground, and it could have been worse. I would hate to see McLaughlin's win being stripped. I would hate for that to happen because they put on a great performance the whole race.
Yeah.
So,
I think that was fair. I think that was fair that they let them keep the win because I mean, the sport is about who's good at it. It's not about the politics game. It's not about, you know, team orders.
Oh,
okay, so I think we covered that up.
oh my gosh. No. Armani's randomly live on Instagram for some reason. He was showing off something. He's showing off a box. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why.
Hey, somehow now Armani has been in our podcast tonight, even though he physically hasn't been.
Yeah, we finally managed to bring him in somehow.
Yeah, he's live on Instagram. He has 9 people watching, including me.
So much for that dinner party. Okay. Without further ado, let's wrap things up. We are running out of time.
Yeah, almost 3 hours.
My Twitter is JLP Stipes, so go follow my Twitter.
My Twitter is Houle125, HOULE, no caps, no spaces.
Follow my Twitter at YTNASCAR and go subscribe to my YouTube channel, NASCAR88.
And before we head off, let's talk about the Discord that is coming together and the website.
So we are working on a website. It's running a bit slow right now with the work on the website, but our Discord is fully functional. And here, let me get the link. I will post it in chat.
Yeah, I can put it in the chat right now before we head off air.
Oh, okay. Then why don't you do that, Joe?
Send it to me. My computer's running really slow. Like, put it in the comment section of our private chat.
Okay. Set it to never expire. Copy. There we go. And I decided this is I am the owner of the actual Discord server, and it was my idea because I thought that is a great way to get closer with the fans, our fans, and talk, while off air, and post whatever whenever.
Ooh, that was weird.
So we have their Discord. It's put in the chat. Click the link and basically let it take you there, and you'll magically wind up in to our Discord chat. A lot of great plans coming up for 2020, and I think everything will fall into place one step at a time. Without further ado, guys, we're all set to finish this podcast here. Patriots Jets game. I know it's headed past halftime, so catch up and watch the third quarter.
I have to go to bed soon. For me, it's almost 11 o'clock.
And I have to study like
I have school tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, guys?
That was so. Oh, I forgot to do my normal things. Tune into the races this weekend for the Cup Series, NBCSN, the Truck Series on FS1, the Mexican Grand Prix on ABC, not ABC2 because that does not exist. ABC, and for the supercars, you just find a live stream. Usually it's on A Stream, or that's usually what it is. And also for the European, one of the other things for European Le Mans series, it's on their YouTube channel. Same for the Champ Car Endurance series, that's also on their YouTube channel.
Along with the VLN.
Yep, all those things.
Yep.
Go find live streams because it's mostly not on TV. You got to tune into the races. I keep telling these people to watch the races. There's my normal weekly thing.
All right. Okay, that wraps up our podcast. Enjoy the game. Patriots are leading, so I'm just going to get right through there. Have a nice night.
Peace.